You can't kill my confidence, you think I give a fuck, that's what they do. You can't kill my confidence, you think I give a fuck, that's what they do. You can't kill my confidence, you think I give a fuck, that's what they tell me. All the fucks I ever gave.
What is happening, chat? Are we doing PogChamp this evening? Are we doing Sigma Skibbity? No fucking way. No fucking way. What's up, guys? I just got a funny message from one of the team. Oh boy. Oh boy. Dude, no way. Dude, fucking Stream Elements is down, which means I need to read out all the donos verbally with my voice. I don't know why it's down. It's nothing on my side. Okay, I'm not being a streamer, Andy. It's somebody else. You know, somebody a big stream. Somebody in corporate, all right, is doing these things, keeping me from getting a robot to read my shit out, okay? I am not one for drama, so I don't even know what this is, if this is drama. What is the ACC? The ACC is like what I do to Nuki, but they're like really dense. Yeah, they're supposed to be like people who talk about why tracing is bad, but instead they talk about why they should be able to draw panini from chowder in compromised positions or something. So more melon stream teasing is ACC. Got it. Me if I was legally disabled, basically. You did orbit to space? Okay. Now, I didn't know who Mr. Misanthropony is. I found out that he was like one of those and the woke guys, and that made me laugh. And then I found out, and the reason I laughed is because Mysterious Mr. Enter, I guess, talked about him in a video, which is really funny. Oh boy. Oh boy. Dude, it's really funny, dude. I can't. This is always so stupid, so I can't take any of this seriously. Also, yes, this does go back to Jar, which is even funnier. So I should probably start with the Cartoonshi video, right? Cause is this stuff, and this is all like I feel like I should have the lore, right? So there's like two videos from this guy, and there was one from 3 years ago, right? Where he was talking about Misanthropony. And I had started watching it, and I probably won't watch the entirety of it, but I was watching a little bit of it, and I was like, oh boy, this guy, I gotta actually do this. Like, I was kind of like half and half on whether or not I was gonna cover it. Yeah, I do believe Lio Convoy was Lio Convoy, whatever the fuck, was litigating the discourse. But I have a feeling that's going to be a call or something really long. I feel like either way, I can't get to this without understanding the meta context surrounding it, right? So I'm going to have to start with the Cartoonshi stuff. Like, there's just no way that I can get there without talking about that first. I just had it up. There we go. But like I said, we probably won't get through most of this, but I need a brief explainer of who this guy is, right? Just do what I do, Diesel. Go to zero context and hope chat saves you. That's kind of what I'm doing now. I don't know why. I'm having like fucking connection issues today, dude. It's really fucking annoying.
Jesus, another ACC video. How many of these people are there? I thought we were
Dude,
going to have to wait a couple more
I've had
weeks
this on
before
my
the next
docket.
one.
I've had this on my docket for a week, chat, but then the Alex stuff happened and that completely derailed my schedule.
That I realized just now.
But this guy, Cartoonshi, basically goes over a brief explainer of what he is. And then there's like some personal discourse between him and the guy. So we might stop watching and just look at some other stuff. Because I just really want to poke fun at this guy. Because I really like the he's like one of those performative, like the woke guys.
Hinge this guy was towards other people, including people that I know and are mutuals with. If you chip Anthro's shoulder either by disagreeing with him or getting in a silly argument about Star Wars, regardless of how civil.
Not to mention the fact it's being run by filthy SJWs who got rid of Apu, despite him not being a problem for 29 years. Replaced Carl's original voice actor because white people can't voice black characters, and thought it was okay to greenlight this. That's just a drawing. Okay, listen. That's just The Simpsons.
You are, he will.
Wait, Diesel, what do you need to plug right now? Yeah, I will plug the Internet Explorers later into the stream. We're only 12 minutes in.
Rip you to fucking shreds. And I don't mean it's people making a big deal about someone on the internet hurting their feelings. I mean he will literally
This was sent to me right before MisAnthropony blocked me on DeviantArt. How funny he claims I agree with him that people who think The Last Jedi is good are liars. And I never said anything like that. Okay, so imagine... and this is why I was like, I need to cover this guy, right? Because I can't imagine sending like a really angry, long-form letter about a media franchise that died years ago, okay? Like, if it was like a media franchise that still had some gas in the tank, I would have been like, this guy, I understand, you know, he's fighting for something. But this guy is like fighting for the beaten dead corpse of fucking Star Wars.
track other people's accounts down on completely different platforms to the ones he's arguing on, just to angrily insult them.
So even though you agree with me and Mauler that people who think The Last Jedi is good are lying to themselves and others, you decided to be butthurt over someone explaining the truth to people. You know, for all the talk of importance and debating and respecting opinions, you sure as shit weren't up for that when you were white knighting The Last Jedi like a total clown. Until the rise of Skywalker was made it stop being convenient for you. And for all the mindless desperation you participated in to defend that film, and all the people you shamed and attacked for criticizing it, and that disgusting tweet you made regarding Mark, you never apologized for any of that. You didn't even bother to unblock me.
And write massive paragraphs of him ranting about whatever he's annoyed.
And admit I was right the whole time. Instead, you decided to be a dickhole and moralize me for the crime of thinking critically of a horribly made movie that you came around to realizing was horribly made anyway. You claim that Mauler is the reason you don't like it anymore. Okay, listen, hot take, guys. Maybe don't use a YouTuber as the, you know, the barometer for your opinions on media. Just an idea. I think the guy used to come on EFAP, but he got kicked off for spurging too hard. Many such cases. You know, I really like that the entire cast of Metal Gear Solid is in the chat.
with, as well as identity politics for
God, I didn't read a lot of it. Fuck.
them, and write massive paragraphs of him ranting about whatever he.
You didn't even bother to block me. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. But I use you as my temp check on media, Diesel. Don't do that. Go watch things you're interested in. The deep meaning of the story. I sent that apology to you because I wanted to make up for excusing you being a mindless fanboy, but you're still a mindless fanboy. Okay, listen, hot take here. Guys who get this fucking butthurt and anal about other people's opinions on the new Star Wars movies are fanboys, right? This guy is just like a nega fanboy, you know what I mean? Like he's like a fanboy in the opposite direction. Like he's still got the same energy there that a fanboy would have, right? This is like the same equivalent of like a guy getting mad that like the other guy has a PlayStation and you have an Xbox, okay? Because like you're being butthurt about like the direction Star Wars went in, but the fact that you were bitching and moaning, wanting it to come back is also part of the issue here.
He's annoyed with, as well as identity politics.
God damn, dude. You're doing it over Steven Universe. Lastly, by the way, here's another thing. Every time I cover something like this, these guys never... I have no problem with animated media. I think animation is a great medium for, conveying plenty of ideas. It is not just a kid's medium. But every time I cover one of these guys in the ACC, it's just like some guy who only watches children's cartoons or stuff from the 80s meant for 45-year-old men that like are reliving their youth through watching Transformers again. Hey, Diesel, could you explain what's going on in D&D terms? I don't think I know enough yet for me to describe it. Like, I enjoy animation. I even enjoy some, like, shows I've watched that are for younger audiences, right? But it's just like, expand your media palette. I like chicken nuggets. I like pizza. I like fucking eggplant rollatini, right? I like it all. But, sometimes I gotta go take an adventure and try something else out that I wouldn't expect to try out.
Takes for some.
Lastly, I don't care for the canceled Netflix movement made you uncomfortable, in the same way that Tune for Thought is uncomfortable. As you also seem to not understand the severity of Netflix did backing cuties. If getting excited for the next season of Glitch Tech or Green Eggs and Ham or whatever cartoon movie is being featured on Netflix is all you care about, all I can say is you have horrible priorities and you need to take a moment to reflect on your media consumption. Guys, I went to film school, right? The tone of conversations that happen online is like everybody that talks about media online thinks they're an intellectual. Okay, and not to like gatekeep, but like the conversations that are happening on the internet are not like the same caliber of conversations. Okay, it's been like the same conversations for the last 20 years of the internet's existing. All right, and then people think it's not. It really is. It really hasn't changed.
Reason, which leads into our approach to making content. Well, yes, we hold a lot of the same opinions on the quality of entertainment. Anthro gets really passionately angry about identity politics.
Let me tie up my tie and read again. Doug Walker is an immoral piece of shit who deeply hurt a lot of people just for the sake of maintaining his relevance on the internet. The former friends he worked with on Channel Awesome alongside his brother Mike and former fans who saw him as an inspiration and influence when developing their feeling. Okay, first of all, I gotta... As a Doug Walker viewer, okay, can we just say that if you are using Doug Walker as your barometer of media criticism, we've got a huge problem, all right? Could you imagine a world where you go sit down in a media critique classroom and they open up a book that has Doug Walker's stupid face on it, all right? It just wouldn't happen. The fact, when developing the opinions of media criticism, and especially Jew Wario's victims, Jew Wario killed himself, didn't, or did he die of cancer? That guy was one of those two things, right? Was he also like a sex pest? Was he posthumously labeled a sex pest? He killed himself. Okay. His actions that never, the fact that he kept teasing an apology for his actions that never came back in the day was enough to prove that he deserves whatever hates he gets. Even after the universal outrage against his review of The Wall, he doesn't care about his self-image anymore and only wants us to blindly forgive him and support his content without feeling any actual remorse. Okay. I know I'm talking about this guy's message from 2021, but we have 4 years of hindsight. Doug is now existing in the space he should have existed decades ago, where it's like his videos are like whatever, and it's just kind of funny because Doug is old man who acts like it's early 2000s Newgrounds culture still, right? So it's like it's a whatever, right? Nobody's like putting Doug on some kind of pedestal aside from this fucking weirdo, right? I mean, maybe there's context I'm missing here. I'm willing to admit that. But considering that this guy goes out on rants, he probably thinks really highly of Doug, right? And also, I feel like after, I has enough time passed that Doug Walker is forgiven. I feel like Doug has been relentlessly bullied and mocked and debased enough that I think like we can start to move on now, right? Like I at some point we just have to like throw our hands up and go, okay, enough time has passed, whatever, right? But he remembers it, so you don't have to, though. That's true. I'm sorry, this is very early for a potty break chat, but I forgot to pee before I went live. I'll be right back. I need to go to the bathroom. I'm back. Yes, I realize that song has like a piss sound in it. Yes. I did wash my hands, chat. Jesus. Tiny bladder Andy over here. Many such cases. Very true. Very true. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, what's weird is I usually get like an activity feed, but I'm not getting my activity feed right now, which is lame. Anyway, let's keep cracking on. Also, like the wall review is funny and bad, right? Because having watched it, the wall review is funny and bad. But, like, there were people who were legitimately angry about it, man.
Weak piss man.
Oh, thank you. And my pisses do be weak. Why waste any money to say that? Why did you do that? Why? Boss. What? I went to the bathroom. A man can't go to the bathroom anymore without being judged by his chat? What is this?
And SJWs, treating every situation, even videos where he is apologizing to people, as an opportunity to start bitching about it.
Hold on, I forgot to read one of those.
Annoyed with, as well as identity politics for some reason, which leads into our approach to making content. Well, yes, we hold a lot of the same opinions on the quality of entertainment. Anthro gets really passionately angry about identity.
I'm telling you, Star Wars sequel trilogy fans make up some of the most insufferable fuck faces on the planet. The lengths they go to in order to justify the god-awful storytelling of Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, and Disney put on display. Dude, I'm just... What a loser. Dude, I'm picturing him, like, saying this at Disneyland as this, like, a kid with a fucking lightsaber dressed as Rey from Star Wars. He's like, you're stupid, and they're like spitting all over him. He's like spitting all over the kid, and there's like fucking spit all over them, and he's like, ah. Like, I don't think the Star Wars sequel trilogy is phenomenal. I think it's pretty bad actually as a whole piece from beginning to end. I think The Force Awakens is the strongest of the three. I understand The Last Jedi like was trying to undo a bunch of things that were put into Force Awakens. It was clear that they wanted each director to have their own styling on it, but they didn't know how to direct it the same way they were doing with the MCU, right? So as a result, the overall piece wasn't amazing. I think there are great moments in the first two. I really didn't like The Last Jedi at all, but these are not high art. Like it's just not, and that's okay. Not everything has to be high art, but like every time somebody talks about the new Star Wars trilogy, at least now, it always is like truncated with the, you know, the DEI conversation, right? Yeah, it stole a lot from a good movie. Yeah, The Force Awakens did steal a lot from a decent movie, so.
Politics and SJWs, treating every situation, even videos where he is apologizing to people, as an opportunity to start bitching about it. There's a reason why these days I tend to distance myself from the anti-SJW and culture war crowd, and it's specifically due to people like MisAnthro demonstrating how pointless and exhausting these arguments are. There's also taking into account that he wasn't much better on my Discord server. Anthro would
Oh my god. So isn't this that review guy? This is that a guy who reviews movies. Last Jedi was the best of the three, honestly. I think I would have been fine with The Last Jedi if it just kind of followed through on what it set up. The thing is like you have these, in Mr. Abrams' words, mystery boxes. And you set things up to happen later on. You know, you set a thing up and then it gets paid off a little bit. And then The Last Jedi comes out and they're like, actually, that's not what we were doing. We were doing this whole time. And I'm like, okay, I'm on for it. But then Rise of Skywalker comes out and they're like, actually, it's neither of those things. And we don't know what's going on.
regularly fill up the movie channel with never-ending anger-fueled rants about identity politics.
Now, here we have a real-life example of the madness that just transpired. The Star Wars franchise was butchered by a duo of incompetent hacks. A feminist dictator and a greedy money-grubbing corporation that shamelessly milks money out of everything it owns. And a bunch of people on the internet with no thinking skills are treating it like a groundbreaking work of art that rejuvenated the Star Wars franchise. You know how funny this is to read 5 years out as we sit in like the bottomless pit wasteland, as we sit in the Sarlacc pit of Star Wars media. Okay, because I heard Andor was good. I haven't watched Andor, so it's not like I can comment on it, and I'm really trying not to comment on media I haven't watched yet, which is a lot of what people do these days, I've noticed. But, like, buddy, it's Star Wars. Calm down. Unironically, jobless behavior.
Using every profanity under the sun.
Like, and also, I gotta be honest, I don't think feminism played that much of a role in the new Star Wars trilogy being a dysfunctional mess. I wish they kept the Rey as a nobody orphan storyline. That was a really powerful meaning to anyone can be a Jedi. Yeah, and not just spiritual nepotism. I am in agreement of that. Yes. Which I do believe was something that was expanded upon in The Last Jedi and then undone by The Rise of Skywalker. It's like a groundbreaking work of art that rejuvenated the Star Wars franchise for a new generation, and capable of recognizing the blatant disrespect behind the sequel trilogy have for the Star Wars franchise, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then it's like, also the annoying part of this is that people talk about the new Star Wars like old Star Wars just doesn't exist anymore, right? And it's like, okay, I'd love it if a new thing of a thing I enjoyed comes out again. I'm obviously gonna enjoy that thing, but a new thing coming out that isn't a thing I like doesn't undo my like for the old thing. I don't like the Witcher TV show. It has nothing to do with the Black Elves in the TV show, by the way, right? I don't like the Witcher TV show, but I still enjoy the Witcher books and the Witcher games, and my enjoyment of those things is not lessened by the existence of a thing I don't enjoy.
And would sometimes even go as far as to grab a singular tweet that had pissed.
Good to God, at this point, I think I owe Mauler an apology for the jab I made towards his Last Jedi review. According to these morons, it only makes a review of something that's an hour, several hours long if it's a positive. If it's a negative 1 to 3 hour review or something, it's passive-aggressive and arrogant. Why do you care?
Him off that day and start shit-talking whatever point it was making, as well as the person who tweeted it, which filled the chat of unnecessary drama that he simply couldn't keep to himself. It got so bad that my mods had to personally tell him to shut the fuck up, and it was one of the main reasons why I eventually booted him out of the server entirely. What finally brought me to the point of taking action.
Didn't people hate the prequel trilogy so much they tried to bully the child actor to death? I think if death was an outcome, they would have been happy, but I don't think that was the ultimate end goal. But yeah, and also, by the way, I don't really think the prequel trilogy is any better these days. Have you guys watched The Phantom Menace recently? Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, I think at most I can take Revenge of the Sith, but the other two, I'm not. They're not that great, guys.
Was when I found out that Anthro had previously gone out.
I mean, Jar Jar does go kind of hard, though. Misa Jar Jar Binks. He was the original Glubshido. I mean, he wasn't. The original Glubshido was like Zeeb Gribbo and the Schmeaver band. And they were playing jizz music inside the fucking cantina.
After someone I'm mutuals with by following them over to their DeviantArt account and leaving a bunch of nasty shit. On top of him also commenting on one of their videos, which...
At least I'm not a brain-dead moron who gleefully celebrates how Kathleen Kennedy turned Star Wars into a shitty movement for toxic feminist politics. Acting like Ryan Johnson created the next Citizen Kane. I don't even think Kathleen Kennedy did that either. I think you're just making that up. Yeah, I gotta be honest. The new Star Wars trilogy really doesn't further the feminist agenda if we're being academical about it, okay? Like, you're just making up things she did on production. You don't even know what she did, and you'd be hard-pressed to say it.
was months old, by the way, just to shit-talk them. It was all of this and this situation specifically that finally convinced me to cut ties with him. So I was going to march into his DMs, tell him that his behavior is unacceptable and I do not like it, hopefully leave on equal terms, never see him again. And this is where the issues begin. For those of you who don't know, I have very bad problems when it comes to anxiety and stress. As someone on the autism spectrum too, I've had
oh boy. Oh. Did you see that the actor for The Last of Us announced that they're autistic? They're also non-binary, but they announced that they were autistic, and I saw a tweet recently that was like, this just in, Obama announces he was president. And
People over the years get aggressive with me when I was younger and shouting at me for either not getting social cues or not picking up on something as fast as other kids. When people get mad and shouty like that, it acts as a trigger for my anxiety and I begin to have a panic attack. I frequently have panic attacks actually, even as I'm writing this video due to the nature of it. So when you combine that with the fact that I am planning on going into some guy's DMs who does not take kindly to people's negative views.
This chode is really one of the most pathetic sacks of shit I've ever had the misfortune of coming across on the internet. He constantly tries to hammer in how it's just a matter of opinion, but if his Owl House tweet above shows any indication, he doesn't even believe his own ideology. As soon as someone challenges his oversensitive feelings on a piece of media he personally likes or has a soft spot for, he goes, "You're wrong." It's a running theme in his responses to people who review Pony Life. Even pulled this crap when he did a response to my review of the MLP finale. This fucker doesn't even know how to capture footage properly. Okay. I don't think I need to actually say swear words to mock you.
ACC since he started in the brony analysis community? I remember he would do a lot of collabs with the main brony. Remember thinking he was trans NGL.
Well, from what I know, this guy is like an orbiter of the ACC. You know, he's like something beyond that. You know, the thing is, dude, I went to the last BronyCon, right? It was pre-pandemic. I went to the last BronyCon because I wanted to know, like, that was a piece of internet culture that was dying that year, right? And everybody I met at BronyCon was incredibly kind and incredibly nice. People wanted to be like, here's why we like the show. This is what we like about it. And I was like sitting and I was taking notes. Did you see Chris Chan? Yes. Yes, I saw Christine. But, you know, it was like an interesting experience and nobody was rude. Nobody was like this. Nobody was like this.
Views of him, and when he's someone who gets incredibly angry and
Did Chris hug you without consent? No, because I'm a man. You bet Christine was hugging plenty of chickadees there, though. Dude, MisAnthropony learned nothing about friendship. So true.
shouty at others, you can probably paint a picture of my mental state at the time. Sorry if it sounds like I'm being a pussy, but I'm only 17. In fact, I was 16.
Oh my god, no, he's so young. He's so young, and MisAnthropony's a grown person.
At the time, about to enter the DMs of a 28-year-old man who gets livid at other people over Star Wars, and given everything I had learned about him
He's 20 now, god, the passage of time comes for us all.
at the time, I feel confident in saying that this man fucking terrified me, and I was absolutely terrified of what his response to me saying, "Hey, I think what you've been doing online is awful and I don't want to associate with you anymore," would be. So instead of risking having a mental breakdown combined with everything that had happened in regards to him, I blocked him on all of my social media and booted him off of my Discord, given
And then he started to harass you. That's exactly what
he had
happened.
previously been stirring shit in there, and now I finally had an excuse. And I didn't offer him an explanation because I didn't think he deserved one, and also mainly because I was terrified of him. Now, could I have approached this situation a lot more calmly if my anxiety wasn't going through the roof? Probably. Should I have actually gone his DMs and talked to him? Probably. There are a lot of things I regret doing in this.
You don't need to go to his DMs. You don't need to bend over backwards to placate this crazy person. All right? All that you can do, not even as a young person, but just specifically in this case as a young person. I know this is post hoc. We're talking like 3 years later, right? Like, you don't need to interact with that person if they're frustrating you and make you anxious, and it's just like a personal thing. You owe them nothing. Just get rid of them. And get rid of them. Just do that.
Situation, but at the end of the day, he was pushing the boundaries of my own comfort and had gone after my mutuals, as well as causing drama in my Discord server.
The block button is free.
I was 16, he was a fully grown adult, I did not feel comfortable. I blocked him. If someone on the internet blocks you, you are not owed an explanation. If you're arguing with someone and they block you out of nowhere, that's different. But I shadow dropped this guy without...
Dude, this is a teenager and he's absolutely owning him, dude. What the fuck?
Causing a scene for the sake of my own comfort and to block him out of my life. I do not personally see this as an unreasonable thing to do given his past actions. It was a private, I repeat, private, discreet cutting of ties that no one besides people close to me knew about when they checked in to see if I was okay, and Misanthropony. No one besides me and Misanthropony and like 3 of my friends knew about the blocking. Now at this point you may be thinking, okay, so Map, God, he needs to...
Oh my god, no! No! Holy shit. Yeah, I'm trying desperately here to not do the gay moral frog, pedo discussion thing, because it's really pointless, especially in this where it's like not really that discussion that's happening right now. So I'm not like entertaining it, but that's pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal.
Work on the acronym, it's just endless fuel for people that don't...
That is so fucking funny.
Like him. Nap is a bit of an asshole and he triggers your anxiety. Not the end of the world, and I understand what you did.
Are you covering the Joe Gatto essay situation? Right now, I don't have any plans to cover the Joe Gatto essay allegations. I don't think I want to talk about that with the who's Joe Gatto? Impractical Jokers. He's like this middle-aged Italian guy who debases himself for the comedic relief of people on True TV.
How the hell do all these crazy people like Lily Orchard, MisAnthropony, and Dan's Burst like MLP so much but know so little about kindness or friendship?
That's true. That's true. You think they would learn more about how friendship is magic. Literally, the ponies in the show are the kindest people like ever. Like they're literally like, here's a cupcake, you know? They'd give you the horseshoe off their hoof, you know? So it's like, why are they so mean? I don't get it.
At least in an ideal world, that's probably what you think. But the title reads Blackmailer, Manipulator, and Snake for a reason, because things are about to get...
That account, it was me, because Toon had me blocked on all accounts. And there was no other way of getting in touch with him. I wasn't trying to antagonize him or anything. Okay, buddy, if they have you blocked on every single account of yours, they don't want to talk.
It's so much worse, and it is the most baffling act of reputation assassination I have ever seen in my entire life. No exaggeration. On January the 25th of this year, I put up a thread on Twitter about MisAnthro.
Yes, I am aware of Map's connection to Lio Convoy, yes.
And if you know nothing about what transpired in order for me to make this thread, or think that nothing Anthro could possibly do could make him any worse, buckle up. Because Misanthropony, nearly a full year after I blocked him, with both of us never saying anything publicly and moving on with our lives, used a sock account on Twitter in order to blackmail me with slander. The events go like this. Around midnight on January 25th, or the 24th if you're weird, I received a reply from an account I had never seen.
Can I DM you? There's something I wanted to ask you and keep it private. Took one look at your replies, and you only talked to MisAnthro, so...
Before, under a random tweet I had made, asking if they could DM me and that they wanted to keep things private. Now, I get reasonably skeptical when someone I have never heard of before asks to DM me. I have my DMs turned off for a reason, so I decided to do a little bit of digging on this account. What I found is that this account was created in June 2020. It was following no one and had no followers. But that's not what set me off. What set me off is that 90% of this guy's replies to people was him religiously defending Misanthropony from seemingly anyone that uttered his name. Using the
That's really cringe.
Exact same vernacular and words that Anthro uses.
You already refuted this in your video. You're upset. Dude, Dude, the amount of, like, high octane energy people bring to, like, media criticism of properties that are just like, meh, is absolutely outrageous, dude.
In his unhinged
Mahler and his consequences, dude. Mahler and his consequences is like the is like the equivalent of like the H Bomber guy plagiarism video, but for people that had like bad takes on everything they watch.
rants and giving off the exact same angry energy, choosing to insult people and be generally aggressive on behalf of Misanthropony. Okay,
I don't really mind Mahler either. My issue is that like there's a subsect of people who think the length of a review equates to how good your criticism is or isn't.
so what if he's just a really devoted defender?
I think a lot of people might over-explain their takes and opinions, and sometimes there's something to be said about brevity.
No. What really convinced me this was Anthro was that this account randomly dips in and out of activity over the course of several months. It was like the account was being randomly logged in and out of by someone who wanted to defend MisAnthro. It's as if they logged into that account specifically to act as a bouncer for MisAnthro's many critics while trying not to give away their identity. Since they were anonymous, this could have simply been my own conspiracy theory based on a number of coincidences, like how this account was coincidentally made around the exact same time Anthro started receiving a lot more criticism than he was used to because of his Last of Us 2 video. But you have to admit that
What happened with his Last of Us 2 video, chat? Did he get like blown out of the water? Did he have like an epically bad take and he got owned in a marketplace of ideas or something? Like what happened?
random account
Was he one of those people who was like, this buff lady is actually trans and that's gay and I hate women? Was it like that, or what happened?
with no followers, whose only reply history is defending Misanthropony using his exact same vocabulary, who also has their account randomly logged into when they need to attack someone for criticizing Anthro, seems outrageously suspicious. But the moment the penny dropped was when, in response to me asking what the account wanted since I assumed they wanted to talk about Misanthropony, they said this: "From what I heard, you're the douche that cut him off while he was being harassed."
Oh my god. You know, man, if it's ACC related, Kristen Ark appears in my DMs. Why are you sending me that?
Whatever game and
Joking aside, I wonder what Synthetic Man is up to. Oh my god, dude, that's a great idea. You know, I heard Synthetic Man was plying away on a Assassin's Creed Shadows review, which I'm sure is going to be filled with nothing but good takes. By the way, I'm like 11 hours into the game. Yasuke still hasn't showed up. He shows up for like the first hour, and then he fucks off. All right, and then these last 10 hours I've been playing the game, I've been playing as Naoe, and I haven't had the chance to play as Yasuke. All right, but again, I saw a review, and it was like 3 hours long, and it was like, there's no fucking way. Dude, I was literally going to cover this guy's lore. Lamau, my hiatus has been less than ideal. Guys, you're missing out on the content. You got to understand, we can't take a break. Both of you and Nick Diorio, man. Diesel will play anything besides Dustborn. Sad. I just haven't had fucking time.
Anthro was trying to play with me fell to pieces as he said this, because no one besides me and Anthro.
Wait, why did you buy the game? I thought you hate the modern AC. Yeah, I do. I don't like the modern Assassin's Creeds, right? But I'm fascinated by the concept of the woke game, right? By the woke game. And what I mean by that is like, there's a lot of pearl clutching online about what makes the woke game. And I want to know what makes that the woke game, right? Dustborn is a woke game, right? They're like, oh, a bunch of SJWs made this video game, right? But I come to find out the game's not even American. And like, I was assuming that this was like made by like the Portland Polycule. But it turns out I was lied to. I thought this was like, you know, that. But it turns out it was a bunch of like foreigners who don't really understand American politics or anything like that. I see your messages, Chris. I see them. Yeah, you'd expect it to be American, but it's European. Right? Or like Avowed. I play Avowed and I'm like, okay, I'm expecting it to be like really beat me over the head with like the pronoun stuff and it to be like, oh, wokety woke stuff. And I play it and there really hasn't been any of that, which is strange because I was expecting it to be much worse. Like the most that you could say is like, oh, the fungal angle is like, could be like a dog whistle for woke. I don't know, but I want to like explore that as like a conceptual idea because I want to know what it means, like at its core, like what makes it that thing. But every time I do it, it's never as like crazy as people say it. Chris, stop sending me AI versions of fucking the worst shit imaginable.
Knew about me blocking him nearly 8
Put it on. I literally can't put what he just sent me on stream. Okay, I can't put that on stream. Oh my god.
year prior. And what also helped me understand that this was Anthro was because Anthro takes things in.
It's profitable. People like it, and the people making it enjoy their jobs. Even if there was no milk left to squeeze out of it, still going. People like you are the reasons why Simpsons is still being milked. Only a complete idiot would recommend or continue to watch that rotting corpse of a show. It stopped being watchable years ago with all the characters becoming caricatures of their past selves. See, like, this is what I mean, where it's like, I get that this guy says he's a critic, but it's like his critiques are just like, I feel like they're just the opinions of like other critics before him, right? Like, because he's ultimately explaining the Flanderization of fucking Simpsons characters, making them into caricatures of their former selves, right? Because Flanderizing a character means that you become, like, taken down to the base aspects of a character, and that it's no deeper than that, right? So it becomes, like, the most basic example of that character with none of the nuance and depth, right? So he's just saying that and also complaining that the show has been on too long. It was like, womp womp. I asked Lio about this guy. I'm so excited to go through all of it.
Insanely personally. He no doubt saw me cutting ties with him because of his behavior as a betrayal, when we were never really friends, trying to frame it as if I had fallen for the tricks of his
Baba Booey.
Speaking of milking, we are getting a P4 remake, 5 more years of Naruto and Kanji discourse.
I cannot wait to hear the same fucking thing again. Oh god.
hatedom.
Son, this isn't about the culture wars or someone's emotions going haywire. When he went to ask you for help when people are harassing. Okay, but whatever. Okay.
Because Anthro admittedly has a massive hatedom, some for justified reasons, others not so much. But as we've previously stated, this has nothing to do with his hatedom. It has everything to do with his actions towards people I know, his reactions to criticism, his actions in my Discord server, and his obsession with culture.
What was the discourse about? It's not worth it.
It's BS on all sides. Everyone using wokeness for their own gains, both positive and negative, when said media may not even have that stuff in it.
Yeah, I think I want to formulate my opinions better when I finish the media that I'm engaging with, right? But every time somebody's like, this thing is woke, and I go engage with it, it's always either less bad than people have put it out to be, or it's such a non-issue that it is ultimately them fabricating it and not paying attention to it, right? Because a lot of the based reviewers that reviewed something like Avowed just didn't engage with the mechanics of Avowed, and I don't think they actually played it. and yet they're talking about the woke aspects of it, but they never pinpoint any specifics of what makes that a woke piece of media.
World bullshit that makes him disturbingly angry in his videos and in general conversation.
And Anita Sarkeesian would never forgive a man who acts mean to a
Oh boy.
woman. And you know what? Fuck the idea that Ellie having a flashback of Joel would stop her from wanting to kill Abby. The Star Wars sequel trilogy was more consistent than you.
I wish I could view that Last of Us 2 review, dude. Holy shit.
He is a 28-year-old man, and now this 28-year-old man is attempting to shame me, a 17-year-old, for an action I made for my own comfort and sanity at the age of 60, and lying about him coming to me for help in his time of need, when I can assure you we never had such a conversation. We may have talked about him getting hate before, but the fact that he interprets my company as me
That's what I want to do, Midge. I want to do a video essay about the woke stuff. And I want to I want it detailed. I want it codified in fucking stone, dude.
protecting him in his time of need when he never asked me for help directly is just fucking sad. You are a fucking adult map. Why are you suggesting that you ever came to a minor for personal help when that 1, never happened, and 2, when your real friends are right there, ready to listen and talk to you in your time of need?
Dude, Lio Convoy would hear out a murderer with Alright. God.
We're gonna get back to that shortly. Now we come to his brilliant deflection that, oh guys, it's not Misanthropony behind this account, I'm just a messenger, despite him knowing things that only Misanthropony would have.
Will you do an analysis of any other kinds of woke media as well? I do. I want to. There's so much. I feel like everything that comes out, somebody has something to complain about it.
Knowledge of. Maybe it was possible that he hired some goon to come harass me and told them about it, which would make things a lot worse, by the way, if that was the case, but no.
Alright, I don't even know who that is, Brian, okay? Which, by the way, also, chat, we get fruits. Congratulations on hitting your goal. Very good, chat. Let's get some clap emojis in the chat right now. You could be the Kappa Kaiju of woke media, Diesel. Think about it. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Oh no, it's playing the music. Definitely don't want that. Oh, can't have you get too much. All right, you get 1 fruit for now. All right, you get more fruits if you hit the next goal.
Anita Sarkeesian lives rent-free in their heads.
You know, for what it's worth, Anita Sarkeesian was very bad for feminist thinkers, in my personal opinion. I don't think she did a very good job. I think she definitely made it worse for people. She's just not.
Diesel, can you review the first Descendant 2? We need a Gooner or not show to go with the woke or unwoke show.
The first Descendant is totally Gooner material, but you need to pay for the really good Gooner skins, so you can't really play the game one-handed.
He instead tries to offer proof that it isn't him by sending me a tweet where I had previously talked about him.
Has Anita done anything relevant in the past 5 years? She's fucked off. She's vanished.
As if to say, oh, I know all this insanely
I'm sure she's still skulking about, okay?
personal shit between you and this guy because you insulted this guy before. This logic, by the way, would fly in court with the majesty of a rock. However, this tweet mentions nothing about our situation or the fact that we've blocked each other. In fact, what's hilarious about this is that the tweet he sent was when I was publicly defending him against people who were obsessively talking about him. Why would you use this as a dunk against me? What the hell is this logic? And then, after he does this, the account then decides to threaten me with having my reputation be ruined for the lies that have been made up by him. I'm telling you this because Misanthro—
Alright, you know what? I'll show this one, Chris, okay? I'll show this one. Okay, since Chris is sitting around generating fucking the stupidest shit. Linkara, the Lightbringer.
Currently working on a video responding to his haters and harassers. If you don't want to end up on that video, I suggest you talk to him. For those of you who don't know, Map has been slowly teetering off into being a massive lolcow by making multiple videos completely ass-blasting people who make videos about him. Some not even having over 1,000 subs, and also announcing that he's making a big gigantic video going into detail about every person who's ever wronged him.
Light of recent events, I've
That's really soy.
been working on this video making a full-length response to my hatedom.
This is incredibly childish, and it's this unhinged behavior
I'm making a video response to all the people who hate me.
that got us here in the first place.
Yeah, that's always worked out really well for people.
Given all of the info I have, the dates of the account's activity, the vocabulary used, the fact that this account always defends Anthro, the fact that it knows things that only
I can't wait for Map to talk about you, Diesel. I honestly am really excited, dude. Okay, chat. I want to do more things with the Discord server, right? And one thing I want to do is like a Diesel's Rogues Gallery like art contest, right? Where everybody like submits art for this art contest, and it's all like different characters I've beefed with, or like who have become like recurring like caricatures on the stream, and then they make like a artwork that is close but distinct enough related as if it was like a Batman's Rogues Gallery.
Anthro would have knowledge of, and the fact that it is now blackmailing me with this slander to talk to Anthro, there was no doubt in my mind that it was blindingly obvious that it was Anthro behind.
He might add you and Chris to that list. I'm sure Chris would be laughing if that happened. I want to be added to the list. He's doing exactly what I want. Let it be known, Misanthropony, Diaz, Zaid, sir, or ma'am. I don't know. Things just happen these days. Would Scarlet be a corpse? I mean, you know, is he really dead, chat? I know what Scarlet's doing these days. I know exactly where Scarlet is.
This account, something that he himself would later admit, by the way. Anthro hopped on an alternate account, decided to change up the way he
Chat. Okay, because one of those TV heads showed up. Dude, fucking, I started reading Saga now that I finished Invincible. And literally, like, in the first chapter of Saga, there's, like, a whole species of TV head people. And I'm just like, dude, this is, like, the origin of this thing.
He speaks to me specifically to present himself as a lot calmer compared to his previous tweets on that account, just so he could talk to me without suspicion. Reveals that he knows—
That's where it started. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is a pretty old comic. Is this where it started?
things only he himself would know, and then tries to convince me that this isn't him behind the account, only to then shoot himself in the foot by publicly blackmailing me with false information that he is willing to publish in a video about his haters, taunting me by saying that I should talk to him if I didn't want to be punished for betraying him, while he meanwhile refuses to unblock me after I unblocked him, so I have no way of actually talking to him, making what he said on Twitter an open threat that he fully intended on following up with, all the while still pretending to be someone else. Not even M. Night Shyamalan could come up with such a stupid plot twist. As a result of all of this, I started freaking out. As previously mentioned, terrible anxiety issues. This sent me into a panic attack. The fact that a 28-year-old man was so bitter about me blocking him that he was willing to drag me through the mud with lies while openly taunting me by giving me no way of contacting him to smooth things over was bizarre. It's unbearably sad for an adult to do this, and it's also absolutely diabolical that he thought he could get away with it. Say that he does publish this video. It would be ridiculously easy for me to debunk the heck out of it given everything I have on him, as well as my conversation with his alt. It would also be easy for me to make a Twitter thread calling him out for all of this, which I did by the way. It seems silly for me to panic with this context, but issues like anxiety need time for me to assess the situation after a shock like this, which is why after talking to some friends, I made the decision to publish this thread and it received a lot of support. I asked my good friend Blair TV to go and message Anthro about what was going on since they still had contact with him. Anthro, in response, decided to directly lie to Blair's face about the account, claiming it wasn't him. Blair then took to messaging the account in question, who did a horrendously poor job of hiding that he was Anthro. Blair gets in DMs with Anthro again, where he is visibly freaking out now that he didn't get away with it because of this meddling kid, and then tries to convince Blair.
Careful, dude. Listen, if he puts me in his hate video because I'm sitting here laughing at him, he's done exactly what I wanted. Okay, I like this. This is how I pay the bills. He would be making it. It would be so much better if I was in it, you know? Like,
who I am very good friends with, that I'm spreading misinformation about him and making false accusations, claiming that he was never going to bring me up in a video in the first place, which
Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay, alright.
is a very interesting backpedal from his persistent threats. Blair is going to have a section in a second, deep diving into the context of their DMs and the manipulation tactics Map used on both me and her, so stay tuned. Now realizing that no one believes him, Anthro then has an absolutely fucking embarrassing argument with the fake account and himself for damage control, with all the subtlety of "Don't shoot, I'm innocent, bro," and all it does is confirm that he has access to both accounts and can log into both of them in order to stage a fake argument he had between himself. And if you were somehow still doubting that this guy was Map, well, this is where Lio...
Careful, homie might call you the R word. Which one? Racist, rapist, or what? I feel like that should come in threes. What's another R? Oh, racist, rapist, or retarded? Which one is he calling me? The third one. Maybe I am the third one. I forgot what the word was.
Convoy comes in. Lio is a personal friend of Anthro and has helped him get a lot of his haters off his back who were taking things too far. He gets a lot of shit for helping Anthro a lot, and honestly, he doesn't really deserve it.
Maybe all three of he's feeling spicy. God, you know, put him in the chamber, buddy. Put him in the chamber. All right, get in line. All right, I got a bunch of other people in line behind you, bro. All right, in the back, buddy.
My Fred, he noticed something that he elaborates on in his live stream covering the situation. The vernacular that Map used for his argument, with me specifically, was his. Anthro had copied his friend's way of talking, using words like son, being far less aggressive than usual, just so he could try and convince me that it wasn't him behind the account, which was basically him essentially throwing his friend under the bus if someone were to try and connect the dots and match up the way the account was talking with Lio. With this in mind, as well as...
Dude, this guy was like, let me throw Lio Convoy under the bus.
Everything else contained within that thread that Anthro had done that night, Lio was understandably pissed off to the moon and back. Now, what I'm about to say is taken straight from Leo's livestream talking about the situation, so if you need to verify everything yourself, then I suggest you watch that for context. Keep in mind that Lio is a personal friend of Anthro's and has gone out on a limb to defend him hundreds of times in the past. Lio hopped into a call Anthro was on in...
I need to play Persona, but it's not woke, so I don't have time to play it.
Leo's Discord server, and openly confronted him about this thread, giving him a single chance to admit if it was him right there. And, as a shock to absolutely no one, he audibly admitted it was him. And if you need further of confirmation as well as visual proof...
The account, it was me, because Toon had me blocked on all the accounts.
He also admitted it to Blair in DMs, while also being a pedantic little shit. Now, I don't know what went down in that call, but from what I can infer, it wasn't pretty. And I mean, Lio has every right to be as pissed as he was. Anthro gets in controversy after controversy for his behavior online, and Lio constantly sticks his neck out for him against the people who take their hatred of Anthro to an extreme level. There have been people that have used Map's disgraced reputation as a way to push false pedophile allegations because of his horrendous acronym, and there have also been people who have sent
Yeah.
death threats, horrific images, constantly gossiping about him.
Careful, Diesel. If you play Persona, they'll call you a gooner. Derogatory. In this world, it's either racist or goonered. Racist, gooner, or woke. Which way, Western man?
Etc. There's being very critical of the guy, and then there's taking it to an extreme, and that's the kind of stuff that Lio has stuck his neck out for Anthro in order to clean up. So imagine doing all of this stuff for a friend, attracting all of these horrible people so that you can fight them yourself and get them off his back, because he hasn't really done anything worse than saying mean shit over the internet. Still really poor behavior coming from someone with anger management problems, but he hasn't stooped any lower than that. And then you receive news that your friend hopped on an alt account, started using your way of talking to mask that it's him, in order to gaslight and threaten a 17-year-old in broad daylight just because they blocked him a year prior. All of his time spent trying to defend Anthro and his reputation, and then he suddenly gives everyone who hates him the ammunition needed to feel justified in their actions.
Well, there you go. Easy. Okay, so is there anything else in this that I'm going to miss if I don't watch it? Like, is there anything else I should know? Chat, because this is 3 years old and I want to get on the other stuff.
Why? It ended up being the usual nonsense that my hate-em likes
To
get butthurt over very...
You know what? I kind of just want to see what Diaz has been posted on his new channel. Dude, how Sonic X ruined Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, I do gotta look at the up-to-date video. I really want to watch Diaz's content, man.
Just play Persona 2 1940s Mustache Man is in that.
Hmm. This guy, I'm sorry. I like Shadow as a character, but Shadow is quintessentially like the 12-year-old boy's equivalent of like a cool dude. I'm sorry. I know he might take a lot of umbrage with that, man. But I like Shadow in the same way that I like Papa Roach and Jinko jeans and you know, it's just he's of a time, you know. Well, you know, let's just see.
Behind what happened and how I've already disavowed. You're 33 years old and you still throw temper tantrums like a toddler over people not liking
This is 9
Disney
days
Star
ago,
Wars and
chat.
Disney remakes. Would you like it if I attacked you for liking a movie I didn't like? No, you wouldn't. Hi, you stupid f***. If you actually kept up to date, you would know more behind what happened and how I've already disavowed that video multiple times over. Disney Star
Whoa. I just found out you improved Just the Robot City Bear video. Dude, everything goes back to Just the Robot.
Wars and the live-action remakes are inherently toxic and should not be treated as harmless. You see toxicity.
He disavowed that video multiple times.
Know more behind what happened and how I've already disavowed that video multiple times over. Disney Star Wars and the live-action remake
These sort of are inherently toxic and not to be treated as harmless. That is okay. What he's saying right now, Disney Star Wars and the live action remakes are inherently toxic and should not be treated as harmless, is literally the equivalent of the SJWs who go, if you have this problematic thing, it is literally going to hurt me physically. Okay, because there are people that make those arguments. He's doing the same thing, just in the opposite direction. Okay, he's literally being that guy.
Are inherently toxic and should not be treated as harmless. You see toxicity in everything. It's amazing. So you don't think Rey falling in love with her abuser with nay a single line of dialogue between them from the last time he tried to kill her to the kiss is problematic? You actually need to be smacked across the skull with a sledgehammer. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ. Listen, buddy, we just like the enemies to lovers stereotype, alright? Fuck.
You know, I looked at my calendar this morning and was shocked to find it didn't say 2025. It said 808.
Peter, the horse is here.
Hey guys.
I knew exactly what was coming in that. I don't even know why it made me laugh. Peter, the horse is here.
Isn't it great when someone who did something terrible to you when you were a minor decides to completely flip the script and throw the remorse out the window when you're officially old enough to beef with publicly? Better yet, isn't it great that someone who literally got chased off the internet for being a completely insufferable human to everyone around them thinks they can just make a comeback?
Dude, this guy's constantly playing Kino. He was playing Persona 5 and now he's playing fucking Like a Dragon, Majima fucking pirate game.
Of some kind. Isn't it great how all it takes to come back from actual ruin is to go, hey guys, I'm a changed person now, while continuing to do the exact same things that got you chased away in the first place? Isn't it simply fantastic that someone like that can just come back and somehow genuinely convince people that they're not completely full of it? If you're new here—
Where's Yick? We gotta... You know, Diesel's developing quite the list of things he's gotta get to, okay? There's not enough time in a day.
And have no idea what any of this is about. First of all, welcome to the channel. I promise you these kinds of videos are not the norm. And second of all, I have a full video about Misanthropony that is now approaching 3 years of age that I recommend.
Melon stream next week, chat. Melon stream next week.
If you just want the short version of what happened back then let me fill you in. Skip ahead to the next chapter if you don't want the TLDR. Misanthropony was a YouTuber who I used to be loosely associated with back in 2020 to 2021. We both made videos criticizing movies and TV shows, and had similar opinions on the declining quality of films and television at the time, but we were never really close enough to the point that I'd call him a genuine friend of mine, something he very clearly did not realize. I also had plenty of reservations about the guy myself because of his anger problems and how angry he'd get in videos.
Forgive the psychotic bitch who brutally killed Joel in front of you, bit off your fingers, and threatened to—
Oh my god, you fucking tell me that you don't understand the media you're fucking engaging with, you stupid idiot. Oh my god, why is Ellie forgiving the person who killed the person she loved? Because that's the point. Because it's about the cycle of revenge. The entire point is about how revenge is a cycle and how it must stop. It's very simple, actually.
Slit the throat of your pregnant girlfriend? What double standard backwards bullshit is that?
Oh my god, he really is Jar. You're so right.
Care if he called you the C word, just take the damn sandwiches.
Unlike a lot of YouTubers who exaggerate their anger for comedic effect, MisAnthro would genuinely scream at just—
That's the problem with Nostalgia Critic, right? Because Nostalgia Critic was doing it for comedic effect, but admittedly, and with kindness in my heart, many a person got on the internet and had autism and didn't read the room that it was a bit. And now there are many a person on the internet who just is that way.
About anything he was talking about, and his activity outside of videos proved this wasn't all just a bad act of his. He has a well-documented history of getting way too heated at people online who criticize him and his conduct, and he specifically had a very unhealthy—
Same with AVGN clones, yeah, 100%.
obsession with people he called his hatedom that he still has to this day. It should be noted that there are definitely—
I feel the same way, but for I Hate Everything, I Hate Everything's another great example of that.
people out there who take their issues with—
Because his channel is I Hate Everything, but he actually has nuanced opinions on pretty much everything, you know?
MisAnthro to an insane degree, and definitely do talk about him far more than necessary, and to that end, it makes—
Dude, I hope that I get added to the MisAnthropony video as a menacing man.
sense why he'd be frustrated with these people. But even people who aren't even being unhinged with the things they say about him or towards him tend to get the—
I should just hold the opinions that make this guy as mad as possible. I saw Modern Simpsons recently. It ain't that bad.
exact same angry responses, and sometimes he would take it a step further and actively seek these people out, regardless of how civil they were, on completely separate platforms to where the argument initially took place, and sending them a bunch of long, nasty messages. MisAnthro also regularly got in trouble during the time he was in my old Discord server for—
What are your thoughts on Mr. Enter and his clones? To be honest, I feel like Mr. Enter is like a clone of Nostalgia Critic, so...
constantly bringing his unrelated beef with certain people to the discussion channels and for constantly bringing the mood down, along with a lot of angry rants about SJWs and identity politics. Ooh, just a constant stream of green flags, am I right? To the point that my moderators had to frequently tell him to stop running his f***ing mouth. Now, it should be noted that in 2020, I was 15—
Mr. Enter is poor man's rebel taxi. Dude, we are really just getting into the weeds. We're getting into the weeds about guys who review cartoons, guys. All right? You know what's funny? I don't know if they're still together, but Pan's partner, whose name is beseeching me right now, Mango. Pan's partner, Mango, is a commentary orbiter and routinely gets into beef with other annoying commentary orbiters. And they're also plenty annoying as well.
15 years old, going on 16.
Are they still a thing? Last time I checked.
Birthday is July the 9th for anyone wondering, please send a gift. So I was pretty young at the time I actually met MisAnthro, and it should also be noted that Misanthropony is over a decade older than me. I believe he was like 27, 28 at the time we met? I'm not entirely sure.
And his siblings with femyas. Is that true, or is that one of those things that like somebody was saying happened and is actually just lying to like be disparaging because they're trans?
Sure. It's also worth noting that especially back in 2020 and all the way
It's
through
true?
to
Okay.
2023, I was in a very bad spot mentally. In case you're wondering, I'm doing a lot better nowadays. I have pretty bad anxiety and specifically tend to get anxiety attacks when people scream angrily. Not when I do it myself though. Have you seen me play Overwatch?
Why are you gripping me towards them, you psychopath?
But the point is that at this point in time in my life, the last—
Yeah, I went looking for I went looking for Maps Blue Sky. Terrible abbreviation. But and yeah, I noticed it was bad. And also Philosopher, thank you for that. You did not have to. Melon stream next week though.
thing I needed was an unhinged adult nearly going on 30, going on constant angry rants, including in my own Discord server, who I genuinely felt uncomfortable around. On top of this, I had found out he was also attacking someone I'm mutuals with, and following them over to DeviantArt and their YouTube channel just to send him a bunch of hate mail. Due to this, in 2021, I decided to block Anthro and cut all ties with him and just go on with my life. If you think I should have explained to Anthro what my problem with him was before cutting ties, please keep note that I was not particularly close to him at all, and he was also a nearly 30-year-old man and I was 16. I did not feel comfortable with him around and I was suffering from severe anxiety. Not to mention, given his previous conduct online, even towards the most civil of Twitter arguments, I did not want to take my chances with a—
Listen, man, you know, MisAnthropony, he might be fucking crazy, but he's interacting with Twitter the way Elon intended, by just randomly yelling at people.
Personal confrontation. If you get blocked by someone you're not very close to, you are not owed much of an explanation, especially if you are a 30-year-old man and the person blocking you is a minor. So then about a—
It's kind of wild that his MLP Sona PFP is like a, actually.
year passes.
You had a tiny clone of Twomad. Would you torture it?
It would go right in the jar next to Illuminati. I mean, I'd poke holes so that way it could live, and I guess I'd feed it like sugar water, but that's it.
And suddenly—
And ketamine, of course.
I start getting some very strange Twitter replies from some random accounts saying, "Ooh, if you don't get in contact with Misanthropony, he's gonna put in a video
Diesel the
blasting his
type of
hate."
person to say he needs to play Persona but then pick the mid 3, 4 and 5 instead of peak 1 and 2. You're just like the rest of them.
I want to play,
Face emoji.
what is it? More of the straight up Shin Megami Tensei games. Because I played one of them on the 3DS back when I was younger. Definitely was way too fucking young to, like, understand. But I want to. Metaphor's another one, yeah.
Ooh, it was Misanthropony. It was Misanthropony, okay? At the start of 2022, Anthro, being the glowing brain genius that he is, decided to hop on a sock puppet account and start threatening me while pretending he was a completely—
Damn, this truly is a situation recap.
to begin to falsely be saying red baby. Since the events of early 2022, a lot has happened in regards to Misanthropony. For starters, he took everyone's advice and changed his name to have a much less unfortunate acronym. But what happened after I dropped my video and said—
Guys, we gotta make a new acronym that's very unfortunate. Make a new acronym now!
the record straight. This is all necessary context so you have a better grasp of what's recently happened and why I now feel the need to make this video.
Is Metaphor really that good? Because sometimes, like, there have been multiple times where it's sitting in my cart on Steam, and then I go, next time.
I will try to be as brief as I can. After taking a massive break, Anthro came back to YouTube claiming to be much better than he was previously. He wasn't. Within only a year of doing this entire channel rebrand and telling everyone that he's gotten his act together and he's putting his life back together.
ZZ Map. You won't like that band. They're nothing like ZZ Top, man.
Getting a job and stuff, everyone found out he was doing the sock puppet shit to people again, and this time he was saying—
Dude, I cannot wait to get harassed by Retard Wrangler on Twitter.com.
He was doing the sock puppet.
Blocking me doesn't change the fact that you're a waste of skin and oxygen with an unhinged obsession over the fact I tend to give out harsh criticisms to badly made movies and their idiot defenders. Add me on Discord, you gutless cretin. Hey, you suck and you should die. Also me. Add me on Discord, I guess. You know, it's just a little funny, haha. You want to see me interview you want to see me interview him? Could you imagine? He's just gonna— Okay, first of all, the second I interview him, he's gonna give me the 1 HP voice, okay? Because this guy is totally the kind of guy who over text would be like, I'm gonna kill you and murder your people. And then you get in a call with him and he's the soyest little loser ever.
To people again, and this time
we should force people like this to join the military. You know, I have a quite eclectic experience with folks of veteran status. No, I think it's better if we don't put these people in a position where they can fire a gun and get training for it, actually.
was saying far more graphic.
You were a fan of my content, you're just exploiting me to feel validated in your worldviews, and then you proceeded to make me out to be a horrible person when you felt like I inconvenienced you. You harassed me, jumping at every opportunity to spread your vile Twitter about MisAnthropony. is an evil YouTuber that needs to be exposed. You spread lies about me. You spread gossip about me. You did all of it because of your compulsive need to feel morally superior to someone you personally hated. And, capital A, you left me to rot after Robert Hayden Smiley destroyed my mental health. What you did to me was unforgivable and unjustified evil. The way you used and exploited me and then harassed me and left me... Okay, buddy. All right. Because I wasn't respecting people's opinions is a disgusting justification. And then he ends it by saying, you should be brutally gunned down by gang members in a passing car and left lying on the ground, choking to death on your own blood for what you did. All right, buddy. All right, Lieutenant Badass. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay. What do you do? Put the fries in the bag, buddy. Put the fries in the bag.
Violent things. And after constantly being given second chances by many of his friends and associates,
but remember, everyone, Diaz never actually threatened anyone. Well, he keeps saying that other people have to do it because he knows that at the end of the day, his fat potato-sacked body will never be able to do it himself.
He just kept doing it. This would eventually lead to Lio Convoy kicking him to the
You should play Overwatch 2 now.
curb, if you're curious.
I'm not gonna lie, I am deliberately courting this guy. I'm really hoping that he somehow finds out about this and I get harassed, because it'll just make more free content for me, and I think he is actually stupid enough to not take me saying that I would totally play him like a fiddle as... That's just why I'm saying it. I think he would still follow through despite me saying I am doing this to deliberately get free content out of him.
Watch those videos because they contain the full and edited calls of Anthro being confronted on his unhinged behavior, including one taken while Anthro himself was at work. Really shows where his priorities are.
Here, I have to ask you.
Wow.
Dude, I would love to know what this guy does for a living, dude. Holy shit.
Chris, go to work.
And would also
Go to work.
culminate in the most fascinating way I have ever seen a person press a self-destruct button. Anthro's final video before deleting his channel out of shame was a video where he desperately tried to convince his audience that he was going to be better, and then ended the video by clutching a memento for his dead father and saying,
No more burner accounts.
A memento for his dead father. Okay. Okay.
No more angry messages.
do I need to
Okay, all right, dude. Your dad is literally rolling around in that urn, being like, "Why is my son so stupid?" He's clutching the very essence of his dead father, dude, in his hands, being like, "I will not argue on the internet anymore."
explain why this is the most terminally
You know how sad that is, dude. Oh my god.
online thing
You know, I know how to piss him off. Maybe his dad died so he could run from his map son.
could ever post on the internet, and that's kinda how things ended for Misanthropony. He deleted his channel shortly after, and that was for the best.
What? How can you get rid of that, dude? Yeah, that was literally an "I will avenge you" father.
For literally everyone involved. Anthro has proven for nearly a decade that he should not be allowed to have a platform like this. Having a platform of tens of thousands of people, while a small feat in YouTube terms, is still a big deal, and this was very clearly going straight to the dude's head. He couldn't handle being criticized, he couldn't just ignore his hater.
Oh boy, dude, I cannot wait for Chris to cover this guy. You think my coverage is negative? Just wait until you hear Chris the Narc. He's a lot worse than me.
Like, I get responded to the odd hater every now and then.
I am quite literally the woke one, okay?
Snark, it makes for a very entertaining conversation, but he would respond to all of them, and having this be a public outlet for his anger issues that put him on full display to be mocked and ridiculed by anyone with the sense to realize that being this angry over Star Wars and The Last of Us—
I thought Beckett was the woke one. No, Beckett is the pretend woke one. And you can actually figure out which one of us is the woke one by checking us out on the Internet Explorers podcast, which just came back. You can listen to it wherever you listen to your podcast. We got an episode about the history of Keemstar up, actually, so you should do that. When you're done here, of course. You stick around here. But make sure you subscribe. We got a new episode out. New episodes every week.
is completely irrational was not healthy for him. I am of the opinion that Misanthropony does not deserve and should not
I can't wait for season 3. No, no, no.
have a platform. All it does is bring out the worst in him, and from the way he was describing his life after his original YouTube break, it genuinely seemed like he had a lot going for him. He had a stable job, he was making friends at work. For the standards of being a 30-year-old man, he had it pretty good, but he just can't keep himself away from YouTube. Like, dude, I get it. I have anxiety, and I sometimes worry about what people think of me online too. It's a completely natural feeling that a lot of people have. But when you're crumbling to pieces at the sight of any negativity towards you or your content to the point that you feel the need to send a bunch of angry, vile messages.
Dude, the whole gunned down by, you know that what he's thinking about the gang members too, it's not like a multicultural gang, it's just black dudes.
You gotta stop, you know? And for a while, he did stop. But unbeknownst to all,
just like Kylo Ren, Saeed killed his father.
Devil leaning on Anthro's shoulder. And his name was Just a Robot.
For those of you who don't get the joke.
Alright, here's where we get into all the recent stuff involving Misanthropony, and this unfortunately means I'm gonna have to talk about Just a fucking Robot. If you've been on the commentary side of YouTube since October 2020...
You should see about collaborating with Netlaw. It's another internet history podcasts that disappears for months/years at a time.
We won't disappear again because Kristen Ark is here now, okay? I got 2 idiots that I'm in charge of.
Before, there's no doubt you're familiar with this guy over the Cinebear stuff, so let me get something off my chest real quick. I hate Just a Robot.
Let's go! Let's go! Shout out to the Jar haters! Jar Hater Nation!
That this guy has done to several of my close friends and associates has to be seen to be believed. And this was before the VidCon 2024 incident where he was just stalking and following us at the convention. Yes.
Dude, Jar blackface photo. That's my fault. That's my fault. Shout out to us, guys. Little Guys Incorporated.
I was there. I was the entire reason we were able to spot him before he ambushed us because one of my
Jar
mutuals
is
sent me their
Schrodinger's robot.
Charles Schrodinger's robot.
DMs with him on Discord where he took a photo with Turkey Tom at the...
Dude, Jar's taking a photo with Turkey Tom. Oh no, dude. Oh god. Dude. Dude, Turkey Tom. This is like the fucking Jeffrey Epstein photo, but it's just the robot.
Convention. This is also the most terrified I've ever seen Tom look in my entire life. If I hadn't been sent that selfie he
Jar with long hair. You know that shit ain't conditioned, bro.
took, we like...
Dude, him having long hair just changes my perception of what I thought of when I thought of Jar so much.
wouldn't have spotted him in time and would have been fucked. I'm not talking about all this to brag. Okay, partly I am. I am just the coolest cookie. I am bringing up all of the Just a Robot stuff to prove a point, because can you imagine what I felt knowing that this man, who has blatantly disrespected and violated the boundaries of my friends for ages, can you imagine what I was feeling when I found out that he was re-uploading all—
Dude, can we get some cornrows on long hair Jar?
old MisAnthropony videos to his dying YouTube channel? And can you also imagine what I felt knowing that on top of this, he was getting MisAnthropony to make new videos for him? What is reality? Now, if you think giving Anthro a platform again after he was finally driven away and was getting his act and life back together is a stupid f***ing idea, well, so did Jar apparently, because back when I uploaded my video on Anthro, he publicly commented on it, expressing his disappointment in his actions. And it's not like Jar was completely blind to everything Anthro was up to after claiming to be reformed.
Dude, Jar was perfectly fine with his behavior right up until the moment where it was inconvenient for him. Okay, that is what it was.
Magenta days, because he was not only a close friend of MisAnthro, but was also a close friend to Lio Convoy. Do not imagine how it would smell if all of these people were in a room together. And I know for a fact he was also member of Lio's old Discord server, the Senate. Jar also states in his terrible response to the Cinebear fiasco he got himself into back in October, that several people had warned him about working with the guy and he was completely aware of how many red flags there were.
I decided to give him one more chance. His fans missed his content, and I'm not gonna lie, it made me some money. I really should have heeded heeded the warnings of people who told me not to work with a guy.
Yes, he disregarded all the
No fucking shit, because you think you're a genius, dude.
warnings and evidence of Anthro being unhinged
This is so fucking funny, dude.
just so he could make more money. That's how dire things were for his channel last year. All of that out of the way though, Jar gave Anthro a platform again. And look, as much as I hated the idea, Anthro at least seemed to be behaving himself for a time, just being able to make content for a different person and not have to worry about having any social media accounts that people could harass him on, which could lead to him spiraling. If things remained like this, I still would have hated it, but at least no major catastrophes were likely to occur. Then Jar publicly tried defending a child predator and everything fell to pieces. Naturally, because of this, Anthro to a lot of people. Doesn't justify the people harassing you, let's be clear. But if I'm gonna give any
Sure, let's see how he hasn't
okay,
changed.
that's the constructive part over and done with. Let's get on to the reasons why I am currently making this video. Now that Anthro has his own independent platform and Lio no longer has the ability to wrangle him in when he does something stupid, Anthro seems to now think he's untouchable. And I've seen in his comments that some of his fans are way too gullible for their own good. Oh, you think he's improved and no longer harasses people? That's cute. Open up his Blue Sky account and scroll through his reply history for 5 seconds and tell me what problems you can see. Hey, Anthro, why do you think telling someone they should be smacked across the head with a sledgehammer over a bad take on Star Wars is even remotely
Dude, the idea of wanting violence or calling upon for violence for somebody's opinions on Star Wars is absolutely funny, but also exactly where you'd expect Star Wars discourse to be, right? Like, of course it was going to be there.
acceptable? It may not be a sock puppet account this time, but make no mistake, he is doing
No, the Senate is the reason that'll happen. All you and your lot was viciously harass, stalk, and lie about me for years.
in the exact same state.
Here's him complaining about the same shit over again.
He was doing previously, finding posts
What does this have to do with this particular post? It's kind of weird to post this on a completely unrelated post. He thinks he's a smartass by making another one of those Zaid bad posts just because he didn't like my review of the Steven Universe future. He's been on and off about it since I started criticizing Disney Star Wars. Oh my god, bro. Dude, I swear to God, your entire life must revolve around a Death Star, buddy.
talking about him and angrily inserting himself into the conversation, and he's even tracking people down from Twitter just to grill them on Blue Sky. Like, I need you guys to process how insane this is actually. There are some people on Blue Sky who have previously talked about Anthro negatively on Twitter, big shock.
You got a problem with me rightfully ripping into the Lion King 2019 ass load?
Some people were probably harsher than others, but it doesn't matter. Do you not see how insane it is that Anthro is willing to name search himself on Twitter, find posts talking about him from ages ago, track down the people that made them to their active Blue Sky accounts, and then start an argument under a completely unrelated post? Some of these people just minded their own business, and then here comes Captain Star Wars throwing around insults and mindlessly harassing them. I truly do not give a damn if some of these people may have had harsh things to say about you, Anthro. How do you justify this? I can verify that a lot of the people you do this to don't even harass you. They just talk negatively about you. Yeah, it hurts to see people say negative things about you, but unless they're in your face and being a dick about it, you gotta just suck it up. It's the internet, and you cannot go around strong-arming people like this when they're doing literally nothing wrong.
Literal random post. Or maybe Steven Universe Future was just a badly conceived finale when the movie would have been a better note to end a series on. Find a better cartoon to simp on, you asswipe. Okay, literally, this is not the... This media... Dude, we're talking about media that does not... Dude, calm down. Calm down, all right? I don't think the... Do you think the Gems would approve of this kind of language, Mr. Zaid?
This post is from a fucking year ago, you absolute baby. Why are you grilling this person over something they said about you on Twitter a year ago?
Dude, they were like, man, he got a bad opinion on Steven Universe a year ago. Dude, he sat on that for a year.
Oh. The last video you made on your channel had you swearing on your father's ashes to not do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, you see, between then and now, his father, he accidentally put his father into a bowl of chili, confusing his ashes with some, you know, nice ground pepper.
Ever again. You deleted your channel because you kept doing this stuff. How is anyone supposed to believe that you've changed when this is what you do in your downtime? Heck, as I was making this video, he went ahead and did it again to Crimson Mayhem, someone who many people
Leaving Twitter. This is what leaving Twitter does to a person. You shave. You know, fella, I think your beard was okay. Okay, leaving Twitter changes nothing about you. You're still a grotesque and morally revolting cartoon community freak. All right. This is not a face docs. It's on his Wikitubia. The arbiter of who is and isn't grotesque, everybody. Does he not look exactly like you thought he would? Oh. Alrighty, buddy. Alrighty. Yeah, I like Legend of Zelda too, man. I like Legend of Zelda too. I don't. Pinkie Pie run. Yeah, I mean, some of us can't be as cool and masculine as you, Zaid. You know, I'm just saying. You know, it's kind of difficult out there sometimes. You know. Yeah, that tends to happen when I wear this shirt. I guess some nip slips.
People in the cartoon community are likely familiar with, literally just doing nothing and minding their own business, and then suddenly Anthro starts a fight.
Apparently Zaid was hitting the gym during his hiatus, so maybe he got ripped now. Okay, listen, this was a 3-year hiatus, all right? If he got fucking shredded in the last 3 years, I want to know what fucking stack he's on, okay? Because whatever gear he's taking is clearly affecting his mental.
He tries to justify this by bringing up his issues with Crimson, like how in the past he failed to properly report—
Zaid, what's your bench? What's your bench? What's your bench, max, squat, and deadlift now?
an active child predator, which is absolutely something worth criticism, but ignoring the fact that this happened years ago and Crimson has long since acknowledged they f***ed up, this isn't criticism. This is just unhinged name-calling just because you have a grudge. He makes it very clear it has nothing to do with Crimson's actual mistakes and moral misjudgments, because he directly references one specific instance years back where Crimson lightly made fun of him for crashing out over The Simpsons on Twitter, and given he seems to be holding a grudge against everyone who made fun of him for his Simpsons—
You know, it was a meme that Cloudy posted, but it was like a TikTok of like this, like, you are not crashing out. You are simply losing your marbles. You have simply had it up to here. You are going bananas.
Tweets, why do you think he suddenly went after Crimson? Hell, this isn't even limited to Blue Sky and Twitter. On his community tab on his channel, he is making posts about very specific people and putting them on blast in front of his audience. Granted,
wait, I gotta go look at that right now. Holy shit. Oh, here it is. Thank you. This is what I was talking about. I love it when people can back me up by providing, like...
I'm sorry, but you are white. You are not a crash out. You are not crashing out. You are simply losing your marbles, okay? You have simply...
You're simply losing your marbles.
You are not crashing out. You don't even... That is not a concept for you. You are simply going bananas.
Dude, Zahid's
like
going
bananas.
Bonkers. He's going bonkers.
I don't know. You're going one of those things, but you are not crashing out. You are simply having a cow. Like,
dude, Zaid's simply having a cow, dude.
Not crashing out. Like, be serious. Just going balls to the walls, batshit crazy, okay? Like, you're not. You are
flying off the rails. Dude, having a cow is probably the one I'm going with, dude. He's having a cow. Think he still feels the same way now that the movie is out? What is this a response to? I don't give a shit about the new Snow White, but Rachel Ziegler's not your damn punching bag. Oh, she's desecrating Snow White with her wokeness. You don't care about Snow White. You never cared. You only started pretending to care once you had an excuse to be a dick. Yeah, 100%. The movie can be bad, but if you're criticizing the movie because she's brown, he's 100% on the money there. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. With all the shenanigans surrounding Captain America Brave New World, I've been reminded of an idea I initially had. Oh my god, hold on. This is a long one. Back when I was affiliated with Just a Robot, there were some things that happened. I pitched some idea of video essays going over all the underlying issues currently surrounding the MCU. Well, I have no plans of reviewing an individual MCU movie since Infinity War. I think this video will help people understand where it all started to go wrong. At first, I forgot about the falling out with Jar, but thanks to Brave New World, I remembered these ideas and felt motivated to talk about it. And look out for Thadmaster 7. He will go out of his way to throw tantrums at you if you do anything to criticize the current state of the MCU. This guy is arguing with Glupshinos, dude. He's a big Glupshino hater. Guys, come on. Why? The MCU is still good. Dude is literally arguing. This is so soy and lame. Holy shit. Once again, Bob Iger is scum. Okay. Okay.
Hello, ladies.
I need to see something. I need to fucking watch one of these guys' videos. I'm sorry. I need to. It needs to happen. I'm desperate to know his takes. Again, I haven't seen fucking Snow White, but
For context, Brave New World isn't even really a Captain America movie but a weird sequel to the early 2000s Hulk movie.
listen, I haven't gone to see a movie. Dude, going to the movie, Red Letter Media really... Okay, I'm doing the thing I was complaining about earlier, but Red Letter Media is kind of on the money. The theater going experience is so terrible now, I just don't go. You know, like, I've got, like, a pretty, like, good experience at home. It's just really frustrating that I go sit down and watch, like, an artsy movie and some guy's eating an entire rotisserie chicken behind me, you know? It's like... It's just not worth it. All right, let's see what his take on Snow White is.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the first one.
Before the video starts, I'd like to raise awareness on a friend's GoFundMe. Her
I don't think anybody wants your endorsement like this, dude.
family restaurant has been going through some hard times, and I thought I could help them by raising awareness for it on my own channel, or it however you can.
Oh, wow, he's very special.
Not asking for much, just to give a moment of your time to help them out.
Dude, Jar's done the same thing.
Want to be the fairest of them all.
Oh my god. This is gonna be worse than Mufasa, isn't it? Alright, I know this isn't the first or even the second time this
Doesn't this look like, oh, brown lady is Snow White bad? White lady is Snow White good.
video has been uploaded to YouTube, but you know what? This is also not the first or second time Disney advertised this shitty movie, so I might as well give anyone watching this a friendly reminder of how Disney is trying to, once again, destroy the legacy of one of their animated classics. And it all started with this embarrassing excuse for an interview.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in. I mean, you know,
You know what happens for these, by the way, right? It's not that these are these actors' actual opinions or actual feelings about it. What happens with this is that they have a PR manager who sits down with them prior to them going on the red carpet to talk about the fucking movie, and they're like, these are the things you say about the movie, here's how you say them when they ask these questions. Like, they all know that these are the questions that are going to be asked, right? So it's just marketing nonsense. Yeah, it literally is that, right? It's not like making a take on anything with it, which, by the way, I mean, you can have... This doesn't undo the original Snow White, by the way. I don't... Like, it really doesn't. I mean, there's as many stories. The way that she's describing the new version of Snow White is like the same way you've described like a bunch of other movies too, right? We've all heard of movies with that kind of message. And I'm sure there's plenty of other ones that are not Snow White that are exactly the same.
She's right. She didn't get saved by the prince. She got saved by some random dude.
So, in the original, does she get saved by a random dude, or is the original she gets saved by a prince, or do you mean like in the new movie she still gets saved, but it's not a prince this time? For all 5 of you who've seen the new Snow White, no, by a prince. Live action Beauty and the Beast had the exact same messaging. The only reason that these like remakes keep happening, by the way, is like rights. Okay, like it helps them retain the rights to these things.
Original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of
And then it was the same exact thing in a movie. I should go watch it now at this rate, right? I feel like I would do a better job of talking about this if I saw the fucking movie. You know? I don't think, like, who doesn't love a good, like, classic romance fairy tale, right? I like those things. I think they're great. Like, I just talked about how much I enjoyed the original Invincible and how, like, the romance in it is, like, really, like, awesome and, like, idealistic, but, like, fun to think about. The prince and his stalker, they met, like, twice.
people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
This guy's putting way too much. He's putting way too much onus on an actor doing a puff piece interview, dude. Holy shit.
So, according to this bimbo, the original—
Whoa, what the fuck did she do, you fucking weird, sick freak? What makes her a bimbo, dude? What are you talking about, fucking Cracker Andy over here?
Snow White was nothing more than a damsel in distress who had to be saved by the prince, and the prince was just a creepy guy who wanted Snow White for sex.
She didn't say that. Now you're just putting words in her mouth.
I don't know whether to blame corporate greed or political correctness or people having the memory of a goldfish or all of the above for the incredibly brain-dead take that Rachel gave in these interviews in order to downplay what is arguably one of the most important movies in the medium of film.
I mean, you know, a lot of the old animations from Disney are important to the history of film, but it's more like the production of it is what makes them important rather than the content within, you know, because it's like these are how we formed the building blocks of that part of the industry. Okay, so that's what's important about Snow White. I'm not saying it's not an important film. It is, but just like in the context of film as like a medium, the story is not what makes it important. The process at which creatives took to make that is important.
Fun fact about the original Snow White, they used real makeup as the paint for Snow White's face. They also invented the multiplane camera during it.
Yeah, well, see, those are like important aspects to why Snow White is an important feature film, right? But also, like, that's not like the plot of the Disney Snow White is not what's important. Yeah, in the OG Snow White, not the Disney one, Snow White was R-worded in her sleep by the prince and was woken up by her R-worded baby sucking out the sleep poison. She was also 14. I mean, if you've read a lot of those old, like, Brothers Grimm's fairy tales, you know, they're very different from what Disney ended up putting out. But nobody reads books anymore, okay? Where are all the people pearl clutching that everything's not like those old Germanic fairy tales where everybody dies at the end?
I would say that I'm shocked by this turn of events, but let's be honest, this
is literally jar. I got a new jar, dude. I gotta add another one to the list.
is not the first time this has happened, and it's certainly not gonna be the last. This is just another example of Hollywood trying to downplay the art form they claim to care about so much.
It's not even about she's not even downplaying fucking bruh. She's not even downplaying it.
In a desperate
MisAnthro is an ACC. He's from the Media Reviewers Fear. Just FYI, not all the loonies are
They
ACC.
also invented dwarves in this movie.
Yeah, they did invent dwarves in that movie. Sure, why not? He for someone who's not ACC, I will say he does seem to have had a lot of orbiting surrounding in scenarios with the community.
Tend to convince
and I think that is very valid to say, personally. All right, especially the overlap.
People like Kathleen Kennedy, Anita Sarkeesian, and Lily.
Oh my god, dude, it's 2024 when you put this out. Anita Sarkeesian.
About so much in a desperate attempt to convince people like Kathleen Kennedy, Anita Sarkeesian, and Lily Orchard that the entertainment industry is finally starting to have more respect for women. Oh, it's not enough that the live action
oh my god
version of Snow White be an independent and complex female lead. Let's just throw the original one under the bus so you know that we mean it this time. You know that incredibly mentally vacant take that people who worked on The Little Mermaid had for Kiss the Girl, where they just made a blind assumption that it was about objectifying Ariel for her to be a prize for Eric to hook up with? That was definitely bad, but at the very least you can say it was a single 3-minute musical number that can be forgotten about. This is the entire goddamn movie. They completely misunderstood what Snow White was actually about and are trying to change history by accusing it of—
But you don't even know what Snow White is actually about, okay? Like
all these things that it was not. Forgive me if I'm a little bit more than upset.
Oh my god. Hey Diesel, do you know the deal about shipping and Mana Potion coffee? Had someone I recommended complain that it's too high. Okay, 2 things. Shipping is determined by the United States Postal Service, not us. 2, the only reason that shipping is free for a lot of different places online is because they're drop shipped and not like actually shipped. Like I personally go and I pick up the coffee and then I ship the coffee. So it's shipped. Yeah, unironically tell the government. Doubly so if you live out of state. But yeah, that's literally it. And another reason we don't do free, we would do free shipping if we could. It's just like the cost of production and stuff is so high that I wouldn't be able to.
By this, but if I could point out one isolated incident that Disney has finally lost it, it would be this one. They're going to rewrite the timeless classic that put them on the map, trying to make it more accessible to Democrats and liberals and other left-leaning groups of people, and trying to advertise the story as Snow White being this strong, independent female protagonist who don't need no man.
You have the boy's magic. No, this magic belongs to no boy.
Now, I have recently been marathoning the animated Disney movies in chronological order.
Okay. Oh boy. All right.
My marathon of Disney's animated movies, I have watched the original Snow White very recently, so I can confirm with 100% certainty that the original Snow White is not in any way like how Rachel described it. The original Snow White is a simple and charming story that anyone can relate to. It's about being kind, soft, gentle, and having compassion for people around you and inspiring them to be the better version of themselves. A movie where the main character expresses a lot of gratitude to 7 strangers who let her take shelter from a crazy witch trying to kill her in their cottage in the middle of the woods, in which
Loki screws a whore. Well, he does. That's how Sleipnir is born. Yeah.
she makes the independent choice to cook, clean, and provide for them as a—
She makes the independent choice to cook, clean. You know, I don't want to be too metatextual here, but I do think that most people would expect those things to be done of a woman, or that a woman is somehow predestined to be doing those things.
a token of her thankfulness. And along the way, the dwarves learn some valuable life lessons like how to clean after themselves,
I feel like this is like talking about like the events in the movie, but missing the overall theming. But I will give him this in that it's been a minute since I watched Snow White, so I would have to go rewatch it. But it's only like 90 minutes, so I could bang that out in an evening.
Importance of helping people in their time of need, and the rewarding sensation of giving to others while expecting nothing from them in return. Heck, even Birth by Sleep got this right.
She sang us pretty songs and made us smile. At bedtime, she told wonderful stories about falling in love with the prince she met.
And when we went to work, she gave us all a kiss.
She was so full of kindness. Why, she made better folk of all of us.
All right, listen, this is not this is not a good metric. Yeah, this is like using your weird fan fiction to be like, this is how Snow White is supposed to be.
From what you've said, she must have been very loved.
I'm sorry, but when Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep has a better understanding of Snow White than you, chances—
Listen, man, I don't, you know, I'm gonna have to go read the original version of Snow White. All right, I gotta get into trenches here and get into Snow White discourse, man.
Are accepting that role should not be your first option. There may have been a couple of elements of romance in the movie with Snow White sharing stories about Prince Charming, but it's not what the movie is about. It's about
Well, is Snow White where Prince Charming is from? I thought Sleeping Beauty is where the Prince Charming trope comes from.
Snow White developing a sincere, wholesome, and down-to-earth relationship with the dwarves. It's literally called Snow White and the Seven Dwarves for a reason. Oh, don't you worry, we'll get to that bullshit soon enough. Sure, in terms of story, it's linear and average, but it never does anything to insult children's—
Yeah, I know Prince Charming is a fiction trope, but there's a character called Prince Charming.
Intelligence, nor does it—
Prince Charming is from Cinderella, okay.
Send any harmful messages.
They're all Prince Charming, yeah, he's just developing a harem, actually.
And while I normally don't spend a lot of time talking about visuals as they're a moot point compared to everything else, I will acknowledge that for a movie made in 1937, the animation is phenomenal. Everything about this film's artistry is so captivating and alive. You can tell that the artists put their heart and souls into crafting it. There's so much variety in the colors, and the movements of the characters are so fluid and refreshing. And the set pieces and backgrounds they made for the setting are really mesmerizing and full of personality. From the gentle atmosphere of the forest to the—
He could play Georgian of Mice and Men.
dark gloominess of the Queen's castle. But the most important element by far is how the writers were able to successfully get the audience to connect with its characters and their chemistry. I feel like a lot of people give Snow White the short end of the stick just because compared to other princesses like Jasmine, Ariel, and Belle, she's not that deep and complex. Granted, Snow White isn't as complex as those three, but she was never meant to be this deep and complex character. This was the first ever feature-length animated movie drawn by hand, so the challenge wasn't making Snow White a deep and complex character. The challenge was working with the time and budget they were given to bring Snow White's story to life through the medium of animation.
Yes, so the story is very simple, which means that it has room to be reinterpreted, which is fine. These stories are so old that you might as well reinterpret them. The real problem with the Disney live actions is that they have all of this room to reinterpret the stories, but then instead choose to just bait nostalgia by doing the same thing you saw when you were a child, but now you're a parent and can bring your child to it. You know, so ultimately it's not doing anything new with something that you could do something new with.
And given the final product, they succeeded. Snow White, while not an incredibly deep character, is a very well-written heroine and a very positive role model. When you think about it, she actually goes through a lot in this movie. She had to run away from home after almost getting killed by a huntsman who was sent to assassinate her by her stepmother, got lost in a really scary part of the woods, and was completely frightened to the point of tears. But when she's greeted by the forest animal, she regains her courage and cheers up. She even takes a moment to apologize to
Boo, get the prince's names right. Florian's Snow's prince, Philip is Aurora's prince, and Charming is Cindy's prince.
To be honest, I didn't even know these men had names. So if you told me that all these men were the same person, I would have believed all of you.
the animals for startling them. She knows how to make new friends in any situation, even if it's not always a good one. She doesn't take anything for granted either. When she first arrives at the cottage—
Okay, Snow White looks kind of scary in this, I'm not gonna lie.
She works alongside the forest animals to clean the place alongside them. She doesn't just give them orders and make them do all the work. She directly participates in the cleaning.
Oh my god, the woman directly participates in the cleaning.
She sweeps, she dusts, she helps sort out the clothes, and even instructs them how to clean the stuff properly.
This guy, this is like half the runtime of Snow White, dude.
The animals were very nice to help her find a place to stay, and she returns their kindness by being well-natured and friendly to them. And one of her first reactions to seeing the dwarf's cottage so messy and dirty is feeling bad for them because she thinks of the possibility they don't have a mother to take care of them.
Yeah. Shit. The actress is like, we've reinterpreted Snow White so she doesn't fall into all the tropes of being a feminine person, right? Of being like overly feminine, right? That's the basis of what she said. And so he describes how she does all these motherly feminine activities and then says, oh, they're like, I don't...
I'm going to be honest, Snow White isn't that deep.
Snow White's not that deep. Oh, you guys got more fruit. I didn't even realize it. I've been so flabbergasted.
She has a really positive outlook while cleaning after them and doesn't hold their dirty habits against them because she doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, this dumb bitch just cleans the house and doesn't complain about it.
Wants to help them.
Unlike the woke Snow White, who wants to do things aside from clean and tend to 7 stinky men.
Out of the kindness of her heart. She doesn't just feel like room and board is owed to her. She actually works for it. Like, seriously, could you think of any...
Oh my god, dude.
...buddy who would clean up this mess of a house while having a positive outlook on the matter? Not likely. This is why the dwarves find her so appealing. She doesn't act entitled.
Yeah, this is why the dwarves find her so appealing. Because she cleans and doesn't ask for anything aside from a roof over her head.
By hanging cleaning the house for them over their heads. She just wanted to do it as an act of goodwill.
Dude, this guy must get so much puss.
She even takes the time to make food for them, on the condition they...
Oh my god. Every time he's like, and then Snow White does this other thing that women were expected to do in that time.
Wash their hands, of course. She tells them bedtime stories, helps them get ready for work. She even takes time to make
Damn, this bitch was raising 7 men.
a pie in spite of him supposedly not liking her very much. Snow White is meant to be a very loving mother figure to the dwarves.
Oh my god. Oh god, Freud, is that you? Freud, I didn't know that you were coming into this one.
Shown to us through her acts of generosity and the time she spends having fun with them. The silly song musical number is actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Not just for its incredible animation, but because it shows a fun-loving side of Snow White that adds to her personality. She's upbeat, expressive, a good dancer, she has a sense of humor. There's even a moment where she goofily kicks one of the cymbals Dopey plays with as he dances off with a silly expression while wearing it like a hat. And Snow White has a good...
Wait a second. Why does that feel vaguely Asian?
Laugh at his silly gesture. That's a really nice character interaction. The fact that this scene takes place only a couple of hours or at most a few days after her arrival at the cottage really strengthens the dynamic she shares with the dwarves. It shows the level of affection they have for her, how genuinely grateful they are to her for the joy she brought into their lives. It's really wholesome.
The music even takes on an Asian twinge.
Tender seeing how a lifelong friend...
Goofy gesture, and it's a guy like doing the slanty eyes and making the ching chong voice. This movie has aged very well and has nothing problematic about it. It's like the blackface section of the movie.
Between them was shapen in a seemingly short amount of time. Snow White's personality is shown through the action she takes over the course of the movie. And Snow White...
My favorite part is the racist part.
Takes a lot more action in this movie than people give her credit for. She
takes a lot of action. She cleans, she cooks, she does everything a woman should.
A better way Anthro could say Snow White shows how positive a woman's influence on men's life could be, or how the queen is killed by her own jealousy.
Oh my god.
She helps others, teaches them good life lessons, and her chemistry with the dwarves is the movie's most powerful element. It's why her supposed death at the end is so heartbreaking and sad, even though she's gonna come back to life.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna clean their stupid house.
She made a profound impact in their lives and helped them to become better people.
Dude, men get a woman who will clean up after them, and then all of a sudden they're like, damn.
She always made an effort to think of others before herself, even when she didn't need to. It's why her funeral was so tear-jerking and emotionally effective. When you see the dwarves and the woodland critters placing flowers beside her, hanging their heads and kneeling down to pay their final respects to her, you feel it. It truly feels like a wonderful, caring person is gone from their lives, and you empathize with that loss. And it makes the happy ending where she comes back and everyone cheering and celebrating so rewarding. Snow White deserves to have a happy ending because she earned it through her...
I'm really just getting the plot of Snow White at the end of the day. Like, this is really all that's happening here. At least Jar has a sense of shutting the fuck up and ending the video by now.
Not just for the sake of singing, but to help herself.
The real issue with Disney remakes is pure soullessness. Them being remakes isn't an inherently issue in itself. It's the fact that the people behind don't give enough of a crap.
Yeah, I mean, shit, man. They gotta be putting out a movie or something. You know, they got all these great properties. They gotta use them.
To the horror surrounding her. The animals teach her to sing.
Is the rest of this video just him talking about... Jesus Christ.
As a means to deal with her fears and anxiety, and with their help she overcomes that fear and is back to being the hopeful person she's known to be. She's actually emotionally stronger than people give her credit for, and with this combined with all of her other strengths, it makes her one of Disney's most iconic princesses, and even one of their most compelling female leads, which of course leads into the so-called problematic romance in the movie. Oh, she decided to fall in love with the guy she only knew for 2 minutes of screen time. It's outdated and creepy and it makes the prince a stalker, said no one with a functioning brain in the history of mankind.
Okay, but Lily Orchard, you're really shooting fish in a barrel. I don't know.
Look, you can make all sorts of arguments for how the prince in this movie was a bland as unbuttered toast character who was thrown in just to be a love interest for the main protagonist. Many people have. But generalizing his character as a stalker just to make him into a springboard for this new version of Snow White is dishonest and scummy. The prince never displayed any symptoms of being a stalker. He was drawn to Snow White's beautiful singing voice, and when they first meet face to face, he was politely introducing himself. And when she runs away after being startled, he doesn't try grabbing her or running after her. He reassures her he means no harm by returning her gift of singing with his own song. And Snow White shows genuine delight towards how the prince returns her affection. He doesn't do anything disturbing like standing outside her window for hours waiting for her to come out on the balcony or...
Oh boy. I mean, yeah, I guess. Like, that's fine, man.
Watch her picking flowers from a distance while hiding behind a tree. At the end of the movie, when they say he's her...
I feel like this guy is not the one that we should be going for to determine whether or not somebody's a stalker, right?
Far and white...
No, he's kind of a stalking expert, so maybe we should be going to him for advice on who is and isn't a stalker now that I think about it.
For her, that's not an indication he was a stalker. It means he was looking for a woman who went missing after he expressed his affection to her. And given the passage of time, she was gone for a long while. Anyone would be concerned for a missing person if they've seen no sign of them in months. And when he plants the kiss on her, he does it to pay his final respects to a person he cared for who he just found out had died.
Did you kiss your father on the lips when he died? I'm really courting his anger. I think maybe I'm trying too hard. I mean, after I'm done with this stream, I won't do it again, honestly.
And he kneels down in respect for her along with the dwarves and the woodland creatures. In the literal 5 minutes of screen time this guy was given, where can you possibly point out anything he does that would be on par with stalker behavior? Because she ran away from him when they first met because she was shy? Oh yeah, Snow White is totally disgusted by this guy. Look at the way she hugs herself in joy listening to him sing for her. Look at the way she smiles at him during the song number.
Oh boy, this is if anything, this is just overanalyzing something that doesn't need this kind of analyzing.
Happily take this over whatever the hell Disney wants to call a romance with that actually problematic Raylo bullshit. Shit. Trying to portray a relationship between a woman and the man who tortured her, gaslit her, and tried to kill her on multiple occasions as charming.
Yeah, but like we all like I don't understand. It's like he's taking umbrage with this because it's Star Wars, but you know how many fucking media properties have like the whole like literally the enemies to lovers trope. Like that's so fucking common, dude.
Snow White tends to be given the short end of the stick by a lot of people for its oversimplicity and lack of complexity. But the reason Snow White works so well and is still regarded by many other people as a timeless classic is specifically because of that simplicity. The movie wasn't meant to be
yeah, that's so you could just do something else.
And/or epic. It was meant to be an answer to a challenge. It was believed there couldn't possibly be a full-length animated movie when Walt put his team together to craft this film. And he accepted the call nonetheless. And at the end of it, they pulled off what was believed to be the impossible. Not only did they create an animated movie with a long story, they also added songs and wonderful designs to it. No one ever dared to accomplish a feat as unheard of as creating an animated project with a runtime of over 60 minutes, considering how expensive and time-consuming animation is supposed to be. I've taken the time to look up some making-up videos.
I didn't even know Snow White was 14 until people said in chat. As far as I know, that's a complete like thing that people just made up.
Showing the process Walt and his team went through while working on this movie, and seeing the
but it's
hardships
like,
they faced in the
yeah, like these are the things that make Snow White an important thing, you know? Like the production of it. Like that's what's, you know, fucking crazy.
The challenges they overcame to bring this movie to the big screen is truly astounding. I highly recommend watching these videos yourself when you have time because I really can't do them enough justice by just describing.
It's like, dude, this is why Snow White's important, okay? And why Snow White will always be important. A glupshitto bad live action remake of Snow White isn't going to undo this stuff because this is like cinema history.
Them with words. The amount
yeah, this is like a thing that no remake can do unless the remake actually revolutionizes how we make cinema, and that's just not going to happen.
Of research they did in order to bring the story behind
like this was a formative year of cinema, you know, back then, right? Jesus, we didn't really have animation like that. And not that long ago, there's a lot of people who there are people who could have never seen a movie with audio before, okay? There are people who the first film they might have seen with audio was Snow White when it was in theaters. Okay, that's how old Snow White is, guys. You could have been a child seeing like To the Moon, right? In black and white in the theaters like way back in the day. And then you're an adult and you go see Snow White in the theaters.
Movie's creation to light is definitely something that deserves more attention. But I suppose the one thing I can say to add to this is that for all the hard work Walt and his company went through to succeed in bringing this movie to life, it's completely unfair that it gets a bad rep from people who dismiss it as just being a formulaic princess movie. I think the reason Snow White gets so much wrongful criticism from people for not being more like the cosmically acclaimed movies from the Renaissance.
Not you, fuck you. Dude doesn't like Pocahontas. Yeah, Pocahontas is definitely one of the weaker ones if we're talking about... Okay, first of all, Rescuers Down Under? Are we really putting the Disney Renaissance movies and saying that Rescuers Down Under is better than fucking Pocahontas? Okay? Because if I had to get rid of one of the movies on this list, it would be Rescuers Down Under. All right? But I like, you can't get rid of the rest of these, right? Like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Tarzan, Mulan, Hercules, Little Mermaid. Those are all really fucking... Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, those are all amazing. Pocahontas is like, eh. And then Rescuers Down Under is like, bad.
Wasn't there
or not
a
that great.
action dark fantasy Snow White starring Kristen Stewart where she literally became a badass knight to fight the queen? Where's Map's opinion on that?
Bad criticism using fucking Twilight.
Zara.
Yeah, didn't even include Treasure Planet.
Because it was the first Disney movie. They wrongfully judge it for not having as much progression in tropes and storytelling formulas instead of meeting the film on its own terms. It's not a matter of the movie not aging well, it's a matter of people having expectations for Snow White that it shouldn't have to meet as the first Disney movie. It would be like saying Ice Age aged poorly because it's not as good as Charlie Brown. Having expectations for the very first major project of an animation company like Snow White is fundamentally wrong because it wasn't expected to live up to the legacy of any predecessors. It was the movie that created that legacy, and the animated movies that followed would be the ones to fill in the shoes of their predecessor. All these people saying Snow White isn't a good movie by saying it's a simplistic alternative to their modern catalog or any of the Renaissance movies really need to stop doing that, because it's an invalid criticism that doesn't say anything about the movie itself. Snow White wasn't trying to be The Lion King or Encanto or Mulan or Lilo and Stitch or The Little Mermaid or Aladdin. It was trying to be a fairy tale. And as a fairy tale, it succeeds with flying colors. Fairy tales are a wonderful and useful part of childhood. They give children a sense of imagination and learning important stuff. Learning about good and evil, how to value hard work, and how—
God, this guy's a yapper, bro. Holy shit.
And animation as we know it would have never happened. Name any animated feature that comes to your head, and I guarantee you that its existence is completely owed to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yes, but that's why Snow White's important. This guy is stupid. God, he's just repeating it. Just say you don't like her because she's brown, bitch.
If it didn't succeed,
no Latina Snow White for you.
They would not be where they are today. Which is why it hurts so much that they are openly willing to bury the legacy this film left behind and everything Walt Disney himself worked for, just so they can act—
Oh my God, guys, the corporation doesn't care about history. Yeah, no shit. Have you looked around outside, dude?
like this upcoming live-action remake is going to be the—
Welcome to the cyberpunk dystopia. You're living in one, buddy. All right, you get no fucking cool jackets. You get no fucking cool sunglasses. No cool robot arms. None of the fun shit. All of the corporate bad shit. All right, get used to it. I'm sorry. Like...
so-called definitive version of Snow White. The way in which Disney is marketing this film with all these filthy SJW changes to the story and characters, while allowing Rachel to badmouth the original 1937 film
Well, Tarzan doesn't have a choice but to be kicked out because of some behind-the-scenes legal BS.
So much as a
That's
slap
why
on
you
the
don't
wrist.
see it anymore.
Huh.
Makes
I
it
didn't
feel
know that.
like they're ashamed of this movie. The movie that is the very reason they became a successful company. And I guess that part of my old video aged better than I thought it would, because... holy fuck, what in God's name is this trailer? Putting aside the obvious stuff like the horrible CGI and the horrible acting, this thing is a fucking travesty. And I don't want to—
Dude, this guy already made up his opinion before he reviewed the movie. Why the fuck would anybody sit down and listen to his review? This is 3 months before the movie came out, man.
Hear any nonsense about how, oh, you're bitching about something before it releases and just being a reactionary chud.
Yes, you are being a reactionary chud.
Trailer, because we all saw The Lion King.
Because, like, literally, yes, nobody has liked any of the Disney live-action remakes. I'm not saying that any of them are like, fine or whatever. I'm not defending any of those things, right? But, like, it's so clear that, like, you're just, like, this soy little loser who fucking spurgs out at the littlest hint of something different, all right? That your little mind can't handle it, all right?
The Little Mermaid, Mulan, Pinocchio, and those god-awful Mufasa trailers. So with that track record combined with this trailer, I can tell you with full confidence that this movie is going to be hot garbage. First of all, they are taking themselves way too damn seriously with this movie, trying to make it look as big—
You would not like the Kristen Stewart Snow White where she becomes a badass knight.
and epic.
I feel bad for Gal Gadot, man. She seems like a nice person. Interesting how you said nice person and not good actor, because that I don't think she's that great of an actor, to be honest.
And bombastic as possible. Guys, the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was not advertised like this. Why? Because it didn't need all this dramatizing—
Okay, first of all, buddy, let's think about the landscape at which these things are being advertised with, all right? Jesus.
bullshit. They allowed the animation and the story synopsis to speak for them.
I'll watch anything with Gal Gadot in it, even though she's a terrible actress. It's like how I'll watch any movie with Jackie Chan in it. I get it. I get it. You know, I get it.
Themselves. Simple editing that wasn't trying too hard while giving you a decent narration for who the characters were and what the story was gonna be about. This looks like it's trying to be the Avengers. Dude, it's a fairy tale, not an epic battle for a kingdom. It didn't work when Maleficent did it, and it's not any better here. And maybe this is just me, but the colors look really worn out and ugly. Everything either looks too saturated or not.
I think, I don't know. When I see stuff, personally, I'm not a professional colorist. But if I were to give my like semi-serious opinion as like a cinematographer, I feel like it's really difficult to translate a lot of the like the colors that you get in animation. I mean, even those stills he showed from Snow White were pretty desaturated, right? But there's just, I don't know, man. There's something with colorists now on modernized fantasy shows that they're doing, or modernized fantasy movies, where they really struggle to do something that's not either, I don't know, Game of Thronesian, George R. Martin-esque in its color grading.
Baba Booey. I'm going to be honest, the animation is the one that carried the original Snow White so hard emo. And also shocker, the business is adapting to its current environment. Disney is a business first.
Yeah, but he would definitely have an argument against that take still. You know, or it's like there's a lot of stuff here that I personally feel like obviously this is like a grainy image from a trailer, right? But I think if we are doing something that it's like a mixed media of CGI and physical actors on a stage, stuff like we're kind of muddying the scene with a lot of the halation that you're getting and like these like god rays that are coming through. And obviously those are like digital god rays that they're adding in, and I feel like it makes it really messy, you know. It just, there's a lot there that makes it messy, and it portrays the house as messy, yeah, but it's more like the overall color and tone of it is just like both too dark and too saturated at the same time, as if somebody didn't turn the exposure up.
Saturated enough with muted radiation and distracting contrasts.
Radiation, dude. She got cancer. She's radioactive.
This is what the movie's gonna look like for 2 hours.
Yeah, also, there's been a really big, I've been seeing a lot of this. We're doing a lot of naturalized colors in film now, which is fine and works really well for like a drama or like a true crime or a procedural or something gritty, right? But like, it's okay to have more lighting to brighten up the look of things when it's not super serious. You know, I think we've, even with comedies, we've kind of moved away from that bright look that you'd expect of like an early 2000s comedy, and things are just more naturalized lighting, which is a take, and I think it's just something that's like a trend in the industry, but it's definitely hampering things like Snow White, right? Like, I think these two actors should both be more evenly lit, personally. I think they really should be more evenly lit, because I think it would just make the colors pop a little better, right? They're lit with some back and slide lighting. You got some fill over here, right? Maybe you got a weaker light, probably, right? And then the camera's sensor is so good, it's going to pick up their face anyway.
I have no faith in your ability to keep people's attention for very long. The editing also looks really awkward and too fast.
Okay, it's a trailer, guy. You can't even begin to critique the editing of something based on the trailer, because they will deliberately add or include different things that aren't in the final cut in the trailer.
There's nothing special about it. It just looks like every single horrible movie trailer we have now. You know what I'm talking about.
It looks like a YouTube movie trailer.
Talking about the constant cuts and the brief glances and the abrupt fades of a single shot that aren't even half a second long.
Yeah, that's a trailer. That's how you do a trailer.
Not allowing you to appreciate the setting or cinematography the director is
That's a trailer.
Going for. There's practically no sense of geography to anything in this trailer.
There's no sense of geography.
Aside from it being edited incoherently. Seriously.
It's Guy.
What happened?
This is getting my goat, right? I spend a lot of time because I you know, because I've talked about this before. I teach this stuff, right? And so it's like the methods you use to make a trailer are completely different than the methods you use to make a movie.
To good movie trailers that held onto a shot and didn't have all this annoying fast-paced bullshit. Even the way it's shot just looks really abstract. Like this shot of the cottage. It's zooming away from it while covering it up with the trees. This is the introduction to the main setting of the story.
If you think about trailers are just small movies.
Oh boy. Well, like, the idea of a trailer, right, is that you want to convey a few things really quickly about the movie to your audience that could be interested in a movie, right? You want to convey a little bit of the plot, a little bit of the hook, right? A little bit of the characters, a little bit of the vibe, right? And then that's it. And you're in and out, 2 minutes max, okay?
Not to expose myself, but whose casting idea was it to cast Gal Gadot as the evil queen who's not the fairest in the land?
That's a good point. Dude, we are literally fruit maxing today.
This is why I like these kind of streams with you, Diesel. As an artist, I love these kind of creative discussions.
I wish I've seen the movie so that way I could speak on it more fairly, because I'm very certain that this movie isn't good, right? For many of reasons. You know, but it's like the reason you're viewing the dwarves' house and then zooming out to get this shot of Snow White coming from the woods, right? You're viewing the house from Snow White's perspective, right? You're experiencing it as Snow White's experiencing it. That's the purpose of a shot like that, right? Based on how it is framed, right? It's like you're zooming in from the house, right? You zoom out and then you see Snow White over the shoulder shot from behind. So, you know, oh, Snow White's looking at the house. She's coming out of the woods into the dwarves' place, right? And the dwarves' home is hidden in the woods, right? So you add all this stuff on the foreground to show how dense and how deep in the woods it is, right? To show how far Snow White is from society, to hide away from the queen who wants to get her because Snow White's the fairest in the land.
Story, and they're turning it into a background element. What, is the CGI deer supposed to be the focus of the shot?
No, you fucking idiot. It's Snow White, you bumbling buffoon. All right? The subject of the shot, right? You start with the house. That's the subject. And then it zooms out to show you who's reacting to that. And it's Snow White. And Snow White becomes the subject, right? You pull focus away from the house. And then you focus on Snow White. Okay, there's a guy on film sets whose job it is to do that, actually. Okay, the AC, the focus puller, is actually the person who's in charge of focusing on the fucking thing.
Stuff like this is all over the trailer, and it just makes the project as a whole look really unfocused.
This guy is actually, he's a buffoon. He's a buffoon.
And I'm sorry, but unlike Halle Bailey, who at least had an appealing voice, Rachel Zegler is terrible. She sounds way too much like a pop singer as opposed to an enchanted princess, and her singing
oh my god,
does not suit the fairy tale aspect of the story. This movie's version of Whistle While You Work sounds like it's trying to be a big Broadway hit as opposed to a naturally flowing musical number in a live action.
Well, I got real bad news for you to find out what happened with most of the Disney stuff. It is also played on Broadway, actually. Lion King's great. I've seen Lion King like twice on Broadway, man. It's great.
Remake of an animated movie. There's no whimsy to the vocal performance and the dancing just feels overly choreographed.
Buddy, it's a trailer.
They look like they're spending more time spinning and jumping around instead of cleaning the house like they're supposed to.
Dude, it is a trailer. It's a trailer. It's a 2-hour movie, bro.
To be doing. Rachel does not sound at all like the character she's supposed to be representing. There isn't enough softness in her voice, which goes against the established personality of the character. A timid but still selfless and humble caretaker. Instead, she sounds like an assertive mother, which takes away from the softness she—
An assertive mother. Interesting. Interesting. Your father is dead, but the mother is still in the picture. Tell me more about this mother. Do you dream of her at night, young Zaid? Yes. The F in FPS Diesel stands for Freud. Do you see a lot of your mother in her, Zaid? Tell me more. What is your relationship with her like? His mother is also dead. Oh boy. Oh boy, he's not gonna like me.
she's supposed to have. Oh, and speaking of miscasting, the casting of the evil queen makes 0 sense. This is one of those situations where you have to be very careful about the casting and make sure you get the right person for the role, because the vibe it sets out will either make or break the movie. But I guess Disney didn't get the memo, because why did they get freaking Gal Gadot to do the evil queen? You know, the villain who wants to kill Snow White because she's jealous of her looks. It ruins the entire
Dude, they're really looks maxing in this movie, damn.
plot. Why would you cast one of the most attractive women alive as the evil queen from Snow White?
Not gonna lie, it is an insane cast. Wait, imagine being casted because you're ugly, though.
World is Rachel Zegler hotter than Gal Gadot?
He does got a point here.
Why would the mirror think Snow White is prettier now? They are literally showing us why this movie can't work. The evil queen is not supposed to be more attractive than Snow White. Otherwise, she has no reason to kickstart the plot.
Not to be that person, but being the fairest isn't the same thing as being the hottest. You know, Rena, you're also right, because beauty is much more than just being hot. Okay, the fairest in the land is fairest of heart first, right? That's why Snow White is the fairest, because she's fairest of heart.
It's like if in the beginning of Pinocchio, Geppetto just adopted a kid from an orphanage. Now the rest of the movie doesn't happen. Roll credits. It's just a baffling casting decision that doesn't do anything to enhance the film. And they only
but that was the point. The queen could still be beautiful and still be jealous of someone else's looks. Yeah.
got her because Gal is popular for her Wonder Woman movies and they just wanted to get someone popular to sell more tickets.
What if the queen has body dysmorphia? What if the queen was actually a violent racist and that was the twist?
Even the makeup just looks wrong. I mean...
Yeah, buddy, I'm sure you know a lot about makeup. I'm sure you know a lot about makeup.
Why does Rachel's hairdo look like Farquaad's from Shrek? Why does the prince look like some random guy in a hoodie instead of royalty? Oh, and I guess...
What do you mean? He's like in the woods. What do you want him to be dressed up like a prince in the woods?
It's worth mentioning that they actually did decide to include the prince in the story, which is... it's okay,
He is a random bandit. Okay, so he's not. Okay, so he's just guessing that this guy is the prince.
But it doesn't really matter.
And instead, they actually just made a hot white guy, but he's poor. Got it.
Because I've already been so set off by all the glaring problems in this trailer. For example, do you notice anything weird about the title?
Yeah, they got rid of the 7 dwarves.
The name of the movie that people are going to watch? Snow White. That's it! Just Snow White! Why did you remove the dwarves from the title? Do you just not view them as...
Stromboli is the best Disney princess.
Important to the story? Do you just see them as a springboard to make Rachel Zegler look as good as possible, instead of charming and endearing characters that millions of people grew up with? Isn't the entire point of the movie supposed to be about how Snow White develops her relationship with the dwarves? And now you're making...
Dude, Short King stay losing, man. This guy's really heated about that.
them an afterthought.
We should make a really gritty remake, but it's just about the 7 dwarves, and they're like a band of dwarves. I feel like this movie exists. Am I just describing the Hobbit movies? Where the band of dwarves go on this adventure and then they get some gold at the end or something?
By removing them...
Am I just describing, like, Deep Rock Galactic?
From the title? You didn't have to do that! You could have shoved Rachel into the foreground as much as you wanted and leave the title alone! I mean, what else is this movie supposed to be about now? Snow White and the Apple? Snow White and the forest animals?
Oh my god.
Snow White and the now more beautiful evil queen? Oh my god, why do you do this to yourself? Oh, and speaking of the dwarves, I just love how they didn't bother hiring actual dwarves and decided to just make them ugly CGI.
Yeah, maybe it's, you know, it's like, you can't just, like, I feel like, what, people keep making the Peter Dinklage joke. I don't know, man.
Care about diversity and representation, my ass. Do you have any idea how many small people would have been jumping?
Small people. What is the appropriate nomenclature for that community? Is it a small person? Little person?
Got a chance to play the role of the dwarves? Do you know how good it would have been for actual...
Snow White and the 7 Thethems, according to former collaborator of...
dwarves to be featured in a live-action adaptation to the most famous story in the world with dwarves in it, instead of these ugly-looking and color-muted abominations? Was it really that hard to do an audition for dwarves for the casting of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs? Oh,
yeah, what's the nomenclature?
Sorry for just Snow White? You are Disney. You own half of the entertainment industry at this point. Don't tell me you couldn't postpone the
people of less than average height.
Release of the movie by a couple of months and spend a couple extra $1,000 to hire dwarfs for this movie. Oh, and speaking of terrible visuals, what did they do to the Dark Forest? Seriously,
Platinum Ether celebrates 2 months of membership. They're just little guys, Diesel. They're just a little guy.
That's like their N-word or something. Vertically challenged. Okay. You can't. He's like judging all these things.
Doesn't it look scary anymore? It looks more goofy than intimidating.
Man, if I was like 4, yeah, I guess I would be afraid. But like, who the fuck is afraid of this shit anymore?
With all these CGI trees and the painfully unsubtle red flares. I mean, look at this. Right.
This just makes me to make my own versions of classic fairy tales.
If there's so many like edgy versions of like classic fairy tales now, it's like, honestly, let's just get one that's like just as straightforward as possible, but also not edgy, I guess.
Rachel doesn't even look scared. She looks more annoyed or inconvenienced.
Dude, it is a trailer. It's a trailer.
Immediately after she just found out that her stepmother wants her dead? After she just ran away from a huntsman that was hired to kill her? Why doesn't she look more scared? And what the fuck is this edit? The deer has evil glowing eyes that disappear after stepping out of the shadows? Is this a meme? Is this someone's idea of a joke?
Oh my god, it's a trailer.
They took the most intense and nerve-wracking moment in the original movie and turned it into a parody of it.
Dude, this guy was just biting his fingernails watching the scene of Snow White in the spooky woods.
And we're supposed to be...
This is quite... I've never seen somebody... This has to be performative. There's no way... well, the thing is this, it can't be performative. It can't be performative because he gets this mad on Twitter.com.
Taking this seriously. Oh my god, what the hell is this trailer? Oh, but that's not even the worst part. You want to know what the worst part is? Forgive me if I come across as too angry.
Alice Madness Returns was on sale for like $1 during the spring Steam sale BTW.
I have also heard that's a very good edgy rendition of Alice. I mean, if you've ever read the original story, it's also pretty edgy still.
But I cannot let this bullshit slide. Because this right here, this is the part of the trailer that really upsets me. What is this? What the fuck is this?
What?
You mean to tell me that Whistle While You Work now has Snow White making the dwarves clean up the cottage instead of cleaning it herself?
What? What the fuck are you on about? They're helping her. They're helping. It's a team effort. They're all cleaning it together, you fucking guy.
Fuck you.
Was your mom clean everything, dude?
Bob Iger, fuck you.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me? You're getting way too heated about that. Bro.
I thought Ariel never having been to the surface before in the Little Mermaid remake was bad, but this is such a gross misrepresentation of the original movie's lead.
Yeah, it's a gross the women don't clean alone.
Heroine, Whistle While You Work is supposed to be about Snow White cleaning the cottage herself without the dwarves being there.
I mean, yeah, but she's also getting help from the animals, but maybe they help. And also Halloween is very wild.
It demonstrated her kind and selfless spirit to them as a means to help them warm up to her. It's the reason they allow her to stay with them in spite of being a stranger. What reason do the dwarves have to let Snow White stay with them now? How does this introduce them to her kind and selfless spirit? Ordering them around instead of doing something.
She's not ordering them around. She's cleaning with them. The broom is in her hands.
Something out of her own generosity. It is the fundamental core of her character, and you
Yeah, the fun guys. What are Snow White's character traits? Cleans, cooks, does not eat hot chip, does not lie, is not bisexual.
Screwed it up. Thank you, Disney, for blowing any chance you had
Sings.
at convincing me that this movie was not going to be a steaming pile of trash.
This is outrageously funny.
This is just 20 seconds. Absolutely amazing. Walt is rolling in his grave like a turbine right now.
Yeah, okay, alright.
Now, knowing that this is what you've done to his legacy and his company.
Dude, he wasn't even he'd blow his fucking brains out if he saw Zootopia.
But hey, maybe they made some improvements and actually got better since the previous trailer. So, did they do anything to improve?
Of course, it doesn't matter what they do, dude. It's really funny, dude.
Okay, he just wants to be angry.
I just wish he would like. It's just so funny, dude. It is so funny.
Didn't think it could get any worse than how they butchered Whistle While You Work, but oh my god, this remake is turning out to be so much more horrifying than I anticipated. Why is there a subplot about liberating the kingdom from the evil queen?
Because it's a 2-hour-long movie now, okay?
Just why? Why are they throwing in something that wasn't important to the story?
Because they're like, we gotta fill up the runtime. Fucking do something else.
Like, seriously, is this a fairy tale, a love story, or are you really trying to imitate Snow White and the Huntsman?
No fucking way.
And trying to make this look like an epic battle for a kingdom? And big surprise, the editing is just as horrible as it was before, with even more of those horrible cuts from a shot that aren't even a second long.
This guy is stupid. This is a trailer, dude.
This is just another case of Disney making shit up that was nowhere in the original film just to justify its longer runtime. Hey Disney, pro tip, the remakes don't need a longer fucking runtime. Just stay faithful to the source material.
Okay, like he's talking about saying faithful to the source material, but the Snow White is not even faithful to the source material.
It's subplots. The CGI hasn't gotten better either, with the animals looking awkward and the dwarves looking like unfinished character designs from Shrek.
I don't know. They kind of look more like gnomes to me personally. Like I don't know.
I guess the practical stuff is alright with the
Does that restaurant give people lobotomies?
castle and the cottage having some good set pieces, but so many of the foreground elements are so in your face and badly rendered that it makes it impossible to appreciate the film's atmosphere at all. And oh Jesus, did the dwarfs take stupid pills before showing up to the cottage? In the original they were going to attack her with pickaxes, but that's because they didn't know what was under the bed sheets. As soon as they pulled them away, they immediately stopped and recognized her as a young woman. Here, they tried to kill her even after pulling off the bed.
This is a trailer. This is a trailer of a movie.
Sheets. Have you morons never seen a woman in your lives? Are you really that stupid to assume that this was some kind of ghost?
Oh my god, this guy.
You literally
I thought Jar died, but Jar was reborn into this guy.
Her face for a good several seconds. Why did it take you this long to recognize how she was a human? And just like that, our worst fears have been confirmed. They completely butchered Snow White's character just for the sake of making her a rebellious girl boss. Just like they did with all the other remake versions of the female lead.
Dude, just like they did. Okay. Buddy, Mulan was literally always a rebellious girl boss. She literally cross-dressed. 2, one of them is a lion, and that is really funny. Okay. I'm gonna guess that's Jasmine, and Jasmine was never like a typical princess either. I always do believe she was like a rambunctious sort, right? I don't know what that last one is. That actually is. I have no idea what movie that is.
Like, why even bother with the poison apple part anymore? If you really want to make her into a girl boss,
yeah, Jasmine's also rebellious.
then making her eat that poison apple is just gonna make her look like an incompetent fool. Actually, scratch that. If she's supposed to be a girl boss who doesn't need no man, why does she need help from the dwarves? Snow White and the 7 dwarves is supposed to...
This is so funny. This guy is fucking funny.
Be about Snow White developing a relationship with the dwarves, and help them grow as people by demonstrating her kind and selfless nature to them. It was never about a revolution to take back this kingdom that nobody cared about. Can't we just assume that they established a new patriarchy after she was crushed by that giant rock? It's literally the Mulan remake all over again. They're changing the story from what it's supposed to be and making shit up for the sake of girl power. All this trailer does is reaffirm the problems I mentioned with the previous one. They're trying to make this movie look more epic and bombastic in a feeble attempt to make it seem more mature and adult than the animated version.
I would not even disagree with that, but you've already presented it with such a bad presentation that I don't want to agree, even if I agree with your thesis.
Not making it more mature and adult. They're just making it dated and infantile for the sake of appealing to a modern audience. Oh, and of course they blackwashed a white character.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Did the race of his character matter? Who cares?
For no reason. Yeah, nice job on the diversity quota, Disney. Hiring actual dwarves is out of the question, but at least you're helping black people feel better about themselves, am I right?
I What's wrong with that though? What's wrong with it? Right? Aside from the character was white and now the character is black, what's wrong with the character existing as a black person?
What's the point in having a remake if it is the same exact story? Why would I go and see something I already know the plot of?
Yeah.
I know I already said this, but honestly...
Peter Griffin voice. Oh my god, who the hell cares?
It cannot be stated enough.
I know, I gotta go watch Snow White now.
Fuck you, Bob Iger. Fuck you.
Damn, they put a black guy in Snow White and he's like, fuck you, Bob Iger.
I know I may sound like a broken record for saying this, as it's nothing new, and I'm sure it's something you've already heard from...
Yeah, I was trying to do Peter Griffin, but my voice is... I got some bad vocal fry right now, I can't.
...millions of other people, but it really is sad that this is what Disney is now. Tearing apart their old works just to appeal to the current political climate, or just to make money off of people's nostalgia.
Dude, you know, guys, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't think they're going to stop making Disney live action remakes just because we live in Trump's America. I don't think the bad movies will stop now that we live in a based society and not a woke one.
Underselling the depth of their animated classics in a vain, disingenuous attempt to build up these supposedly more cinematic live-action remakes. Sometimes I feel as if Walt himself underestimated the impact this movie would make. When it first came out in 1937, I don't think he suspected that people would still be talking about it almost 90 years later. And yet, here we are today, with a bunch of people on YouTube making videos not only bashing...
Dude, of course, dude showed a picture of Jar. You gotta be fucking kidding me. This just keeps magnifique.
This upcoming live-action remake for its disservice towards the...
Oh, the critical drinker, yeah, But speaking of woke grifters, Jesus Christ, the critical drinker.
The original, but also making videos passionately describing in stunning detail how the original movie is a well-crafted and timeless work of art that had a lot of passion put into it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna do a second stream on this guy. I changed my mind. This guy is really funny. His media takes are terrible.
Paid off. A movie that inspired entire generations of artists and filmmakers, all made possible by the story of the fairest maiden to ever grace
this guy is funny as shit, dude.
Silver screen. So Rachel Zegler can have all the apples in the world thrown at her face for her horrific willingness to misrepresent Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. And Bob Iger can take this uninspired garbage, along with the longest keyblade Tetsuya Nomura can forge, and shove them straight up his ass until the
this guy totally has more than a... Yeah, he can't be a one-off stream.
Grapefruit he wants to...
You know, in Lio Convoy's defense, I won't put ACC in the next title. Though, if you put a gun to my head, I'd definitely say this motherfucker's part of the ACC.
How was live-action Mulan not based? It supported slavery and making those capitalist Chinese dollars.
That's true.
Because the original Snow White is as compelling of a female protagonist as they can get, and trying to take that away from her is nothing short of a middle finger to animation.
He is absolutely ACC. Dude, they're trying to fix up their image over at the ACC. They're tired of being lumped in with every single crazy person that shows up the next week. All right? Listen, I'm just saying, many such cases. Despite making up 10% of the YouTube population, isn't it interesting how the ACC, the art commentary community, that's what they call themselves, okay? They keep having crazy people. I'm not saying that they're all crazy. I'm saying if I was in a room and I heard they were ACC, I would not feel safe. No, and you know, some of my favorite people are from the ACC. Kristen Ark, love that guy. The ACC seems to be going after Dooman now. What did Dooman do? What did Dooman do? I keep thinking you're talking about AOC. That Dooman, great person. Never heard anything bad about her. She's one of the dark ones. That's okay. Yeah, Dooman hasn't even published a video yet, man. I keep waiting for that. It's literally on my docket. I thought it would be done by now. Yeah, Kristen Ark's gonna like that.
Hello, lady.
One person put Dooman in a thumbnail and everyone is defending them. Oh, okay. Dooman, she's one of the good ones. We like her here. She hasn't been rude to me. Didn't call me a slur yet. Didn't call me a slur. Yo, dude, he watched the Shrek trailer. Dude, how much? Oh my god. Okay, I gotta look at it.
Ladies and gentlemen. Before the video starts, I'd like to raise awareness on a friend's GoFundMe.
Dude, no way, dude. He's still talking about the fucking restaurant. Dude, back it up, man.
Her family restaurant has been going through some hard times, and I thought I could help them by raising awareness for it on my own channel. A link to it will be provided in the description. Please donate any amount.
I hope Zaid picks a fight with you, Diesel. Dude, we're all wishing for it too much. That's how I know I'm not gonna get a fight with him.
Of money you want or spread awareness for it however you can. I'm not asking for much, just to give a moment of your time to help them out. Any form of help would be deeply appreciated. Thank you. Alright, it looks like I have to be the one to say it. We never needed a Shrek 5. I've been seeing a lot of people complaining about this trailer for the TikTok thing and the uncanny facial models, but all they're doing is ignoring the actual problem. First off, of course Shrek was gonna make fun of TikTok. They always pretty much did.
Yeah, that's an annoying one, right? Dude, there's like a joke about the fucking OJ car chase in Shrek 2.
Stuff like this. The series was pretty much built around parodying fairy tale tropes and current trends, like how the second movie was about throwing shit at Hollywood. Like, I hate TikTok as much as the next guy, but I think you're a bit off on this one. And yes, the facial models are bad, but I think people...
I mean, it's like a little difference, but like we're really gonna we're really splitting hairs over something we haven't really experienced.
Might be overreacting to them.
If he says that this is because woke, I'm gonna literally fall out of my chair.
A little bit. I've seen a lot of people drawing comparisons to the Sonic movie when we got that first horrible look at Sonic, and it's a really
I think they look fine.
Blown comparison. The people making this comparison don't understand what made that design so horrible. The first Sonic movie was trying to make something look realistic when it wasn't supposed to look realistic. He was a cartoon character from a video game. It was a
We don't even know if that character is trans. People are just assuming that Shrek has a trans daughter.
Appropriate design choice and not a matter of animation style. The problem with Shrek 5 is less about design and more about style. They're trying to make the ogres less ugly when they're supposed to be ugly.
Shrek was never ugly. Shrek was never ugly. Maybe I'm the wrong guy to ask that because, you know, I have a thing for greenskins, but like, you know, like I don't like Shrek was never ugly.
Fucking ogres. However, this isn't nearly as bad as the original Sonic, which required a complete overhaul. This is something that can be more easily fixed. Just move the eyes slightly apart from each other and make them less
move the eyes slightly apart.
wide and it'll be okay. No, the real problem with
Diesel, you're into goblins. You know, I would fuck Fiona personally, but you know, that's just because I'm a brave man who's capable of saying such brave things.
Shrek 5 is why does this movie need to exist at all? The Shrek franchise was already given a satisfying conclusion with the fourth movie. It's called The Final Chapter. It provided a complete sense of closure for the series.
Yeah, but like, you know, who gives a shit?
Shrek rekindles his relationship with his family and learns to value them better. All the villains have been defeated. There's no more looming threats to the kingdom. They brought the ogres back.
Okay, but like, are you fucking kidding me? Shrek doesn't need another movie. We already ended it. Yeah, you don't have to watch it.
The story is over. Why are you fucking with something that shouldn't be fucked with by making an
Has this guy heard of the Puss in Boots movies?
Sequel. Have you guys not been paying attention to Hollywood's horrific track record of god-awful sequels these last several years? Hell, DreamWorks themselves just gave us 2 of them back to back. What, are you going to explore a new generation of characters by making it about the triplets? Because that sure has a track record of not backfiring at all.
That's not the same thing. We are not putting this and Shrek in the same category.
This is just another example of how Hollywood has absolutely run out of ideas, with most of its creative...
I agree, they'd have ran out of ideas, but like, dude.
Milking old franchises just to line their pockets with money. And no,
I saw somebody be like, here's what Shrek 5 is going to be about. It's like the daughter, she's like, Dad, I want to go out and explore the fairyland, right? And then it's like Shrek, and Shrek is responding, he's like, no, daughter. You got to go out there. You'll be turned into stone. You know that?
Don't want any comments complaining about how I'm being needlessly negative or pessimistic, because DreamWorks has given me no reason to trust them with this movie. The last 2 sequels they made were horrible, and that live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon is all sorts of wrong. Instead of digging a corpse out of its grave and milking it for money...
Yeah, that TikTok. Okay, it's nice to know that everybody knows what TikTok I'm referring to.
Make a new franchise. That is the easiest shit in the world, but you're too pathetic to try anything different.
Yeah, that Shrek voice was bad, and you know it.
Come up with a more original idea than a sequel that should not be made. And casting Zendaya...
You saved me from the tower, but now you've locked our daughter into your personal tower. Stop.
It's just a tripe casting choice that reeks of laziness. She already made the Looney Tunes annoying. We don't need tripe casting idea than a sequel that should not be made. And casting Zendaya is just a tripe casting choice that reeks of laziness.
What do you mean it reeks of laziness? Zendaya's a good actor, dude. Have you seen the fucking tennis movie Challengers?
She already made the Looney Tunes annoying.
She's great now. She's like a good actor. Like Looney Tunes is like not like... Are we fucking... Are you kidding me? Yeah, you know, Zendaya from Space Jam.
We don't need her doing it for Shrek. Her being in the MCU should not give her a free pass to be shoved into everything.
Have you seen her in Euphoria? She's amazing. She's got some serious fucking range.
The bottom line is, stop milking old franchises. Let them end. I feel like they're gonna do to Shrek what Illumination did to Despicable Me. Just shitting out a whole bunch of sequels when there's nothing to continue. Make it...
Zendaya from Looney Tunes is a take.
Stop,
yeah.
Please. That's all I gotta say.
Wow.
Hello,
yeah, they only watch children's cartoons. Challengers is good. Go watch that movie. It's a great movie. God, nobody watches cinema anymore. All they watch is YouTube complain about a movie they didn't watch. I hope we get a succulent Chinese meal reference in Shrek. Yeah, she is in a lot of things. I will say that. She definitely gets a lot of roles casted because she was in the MCU. The MCU like makes like an actor's career these days. It's insane. But then you can also end up on the reverse side of that, where it's like Robert Downey Jr. What has he been in since his time as Iron Man? That terrible Dr. Dolittle movie or whatever the fuck. Yeah, and I liked her in the MCU. I think she's also really good in Dune. She does a really great job in Dune. But like you could levy the same criticism at Zendaya as like fucking, oh my god, is that Diesel? People care about their media. I mean, you are not one to talk when your streaming career at the moment is based on no-name Discord spurgs. Yo, dude! It's Zaid! Zaid's in the chat! Yeah, Jack Black and Chris Pratt. At least it's not Awkwafina. 100% at least it's not Awkwafina. Awkwafina is a terrible, terrible cast. She was not good in The Little Mermaid. This is Daid, reveal yourself. It has to be, because that chatter was trying to goad me into an argument earlier. 100% that has to be Zaid. That's literally what he does verbatim. And he was like complaining about my takes on Snow White. So that has to be Zaid. There's no fucking way. Mods, Send me that account. I want to know if it's him. I'm not. Your brain's here. It's Saeed. That's 100% Saeed. You're soy. You're soy. You're soy. Soy. Get on your main account, bitch. That is so fucking funny. There's no way it's not. Dude, I'm gonna go see the Minecraft movie, dude. Oh fuck, that's funny. I'm definitely gonna do another stream on this guy. I kind of think he's got some funny takes. Okay. The Lio video is so funny. I need to take a look at that. Diesel movie review channel? No, because then I'll actually just turn into Doug Walker. That's the joke I make all the time. Dude.
Quick everyone, let's make contrarian takes to piss him off.
Dude, Zayn can complain all he wants, alright? I've spent the last 3 hours riffing on him, and I made fucking bread, so he can get as mad as he wants. I'm laughing all the way to the paycheck at the end of this month, alright? Holy shit. Call this boy the baker. Bro, he's like... Dude, Zaid's my yeast. He's my yeast, bro. He's my yeast. That's kind of gross. Ew. Well, I'm gonna send you guys over to my son Falgi. I know he's streaming, and it's my responsibility to take care of my son. So I'm gonna go pack it in for the evening chat. Thank you all for coming out. Make sure to subscribe on your way out, Pookies.